right. They should be banished.
I have also removed their ninjutsu. But since they have been born a ninja, they die a ninja.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running. That's why at Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You are watching a master.
What's going on, traders? What's going on? Welcome back to another live stream. If you are new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Happy Friday, chat. Good to be back with you guys. Good to be back with you guys here. Welcome to the show. Before we hop onto the charts, as always, make sure you read what's on the screen for me real quick. Trading is very risky. Most traders lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make sure you do your own research, make your own trading decisions. My mic looks a little bit hot today. I don't know. If it sounds like I'm yelling to you guys, let me know. Audio looking like strong. Yeah, trading's risky. If you trade, you're a crazy person. You're probably going to lose all your money. Make sure you do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content. Lights up on futures, code RDF, bookmap, and others. What is up? What's going on, chat? What's happening? What is this? What are we doing here in these markets? Now, before we hop on, let's get the good mornings in. Good mornings, man. Get the good mornings in the chat. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Wolf, what's up? Paul, what's up? What's going on, guys? Don't F It Up Friday is definitely Don't F It Up Friday. We will talk about that. Sharp Prince, welcome back, man. Holiday was good. Holiday was beautiful. Got to run around Antigua, eat and drink good, dive with sharks and sea turtles and stingrays, and spend some time with my beautiful wife that I'm so grateful to have. Very grateful, man. Very grateful. That trip, I think, is light work for a lot of people. Happy to be able to do stuff like that, but I love experiencing all the world has to offer. I'm very grateful for it. Dwayne, what's up? JB, what's up? Rhombus. Zach's back. U.S. government shutdown. Still slack. Testing my rap skills. What's up, guys? Tommy, Blue Water, Cruiser. Oh, yeah, we got it's going to be a good day. I can feel it, man. Dr. FP, Pam, what's happening? Meatball Sub House. What's up, dude? Streamer Hub, what's up? Soulless of Zero, what's going on? Chat, what's going on, guys? Good to see you. If you're on Kick, what's up on Kick? Welcome back to the show. Appreciate you guys being here. If you're on X, what's up, X? Guys, if you are on X, feel free to hop on Kick or YouTube so I can actually read your chat and talk to you. And also, you will get low latency and not have to deal with a big bunch of lag on X. But you do whatever you want. Let's talk about these markets, man. Let's talk about these markets. Yeah, it is Don't F It Up Friday. What's up, Fast Money? Yeah, I see some of you guys laughing there. Some of you guys and girls laughing there. It's Don't F It Up Friday, and we say that because there's a tendency for traders to F it up on Friday. I don't know exactly why that is. I don't know. I don't have the stats behind it. I don't know if it's just they're trying to push their luck into the weekend. I don't know if it's that they're trying to make back all their money. But this is not just a retail thing. A lot of guys have said in the trading pits of Chicago, right? At the CME, the CBOT, the guys in the NQ pit on Friday afternoon, they called it the loser circle. They called it the loser's pit because the only people that were still there at 2:30 p.m. on a Friday were guys that have lost all week or lost that day and were trying to make it back desperately and burying themselves, right? I just think it's a human drive and desire and determination, right? It's not necessarily coming from a bad place to try hard, right? To push, to work more, to do more, to try to make something happen. But you got to remember, man, the market doesn't care that it's Friday. It doesn't care if you made or lost money all week. It's just going to do whatever it's going to do. And your job is to sit here painstakingly patiently sometimes, like you've seen me do, and wait for your setup to come. Don't take any dumb trades in between there, and you'll be able to capitalize when your trade setup shows up and probably make some money, or at very worst, lose money repeatedly, but on a good trade. So don't F it up on Friday, guys. And here is exactly how you cannot mess it up. This is it. Set your risk per trade and risk per day. Know what that is. Accept that is a real possibility, and you cannot be hurt. You can't be damaged, right? You know if you are risking $100 per trade and you're giving yourself 3 losses back-to-back before you're done, and your max loss limit is $300 for the day, you know that you are very easily, anything can happen, you can hit that $300 and you're cool. You move on, you say, no sweat, I did what I was supposed to do, I took some L's, I'll review. If you don't know what your risk per trade is, and you don't know what your risk per day is, and you start to take L's, your only logical answer is to tilt. The only logical answer is to mess it up, right? So I've yet to hear a good argument. I don't care if you're risking 0.25% or you're flipping the entire account and you're risking $10,000, which is the entire account on the very next trade. Know what that risk is, right? Be aware of it and then accept it. And when I say that, I mean genuinely think when I put a trade on here, a YM, and I have a $1,000 stop loss, I have to go, Trump could sneeze and this immediately can rip through my stop loss. Split second, right to stop loss, right? Straight to jail. If you're not comfortable with that, reduce your risk. Cut your position size in half. Reduce your risk per trade. Or don't trade at all. But trading involves an inherent risk. You have to take that and then accept it, right? Know what it is and accept it on the front end. Write it off. The money's gone. This is what you have to pay to find out whether or not that trade is going to work. That's the way that you need to think about it. If you don't do that, you're setting yourself up for failure. There's not many black and whites in trading, right? There's many ways to do things, but I have yet to meet a single consistent trader, even remotely profitable, that does not know exactly how much risk they have on every day and every trade, and they accept that. And again, I don't care if you're going to blow through 20 funded accounts, copy trading them, right? Know what the risk is. I don't care if you have a $100,000 position on. That's not what I'm saying. It has to be small or whatever it is, but accept it, right? Small, large, anywhere in between, the whole account, part of the account, half the account. Know how much you stand to lose and accept that on the front end. And you can't mess it up, right? You say, I knew this going in. I made this game plan. I executed. I lost, right? It's when we don't accept it. That's the problem. And I've been there more times than I can count. Now, let's look at these markets, man. How about that IB low break? How about that IB low break, guys? So we were talking about edge flow yesterday. We were talking about initial balance high and low. I'm going to hide these for now. We'll come back to that. We'll mark up initial balance high and low. We'll talk about the stats behind that. But I just want to talk about this market in general as we have about 8 minutes into the open, 7 minutes into NYSE open. Overall, guys, YM has been much stronger than the other U.S. indices and now equal to, if not more, weak than the other U.S. indices. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this level, but this was the high from October over here. Did come into a key spot, right? We formed a volume point of control from yesterday right there. We pushed over all-time highs, and then this has really been a gnarly reaction to the downside. This is a really heavy reaction to the downside, and I think it's worth noting that, this is more volatile than we've seen in a while, right? Outside of the Trump tariff stuff, right? Looking at the last few weeks of data here on the 15-minute chart zoomed out, this is heavy. This is some serious movement. I mean, yesterday, well over average daily, average session ranges here on YM. This was a large movement to the downside. I wouldn't say it was terribly rapid, right? We did break down here, but then we kind of chopped back and forth, and this was kind of slow trending to the downside, just nonstop movement down. I'm not here for higher time frame speculation. I don't care to say whether or not this is the top, this is all-time highs. Now it's time to be bearish. Now it's time to be bullish. I'm just going to look at what's happening on the chart, right? So here's what's happening. We pushed aggressively over all-time highs, and now we've aggressively turned to the downside, right? A gnarly sell-off, really gnarly sell-off yesterday. What are we doing into pre-market? A little bit of chop at the open, and then down below VWAP, breaking and retesting, and really aggressively selling off into pre-market. I mean, we are already, from the highs, down 500 points here on YM, right? We are obviously opening up bearish, right? We're well below prior day low on a 1,000-point move to the downside. So this is going to be a pretty bearish open, right? Where do we go from here? How do I structure trades on something like this? This is tough. This is tough, guys. This is not going to be a super simplistic play, right? Like yesterday, I could see the same setup, right? I could see the same play. Yesterday, what happened? We came into the market bearish, right? Overnight session looking weak, down below VWAP. We chopped around, tested VWAP multiple times. I took a short right here for a breakdown. I could see the same play setting up right here, right? We might do something like that. If I was going to look for something like that, I'm definitely looking right in here. I'm absolutely not taking it here. I'm not taking it down here. I'm at least waiting for a pullback back up to the 47, let's say 480s 490s, right? Why? Key area of high volume node. Yesterday's low, volume point of control from the 11th from earlier this week. Easy level that I think we could go and tap VWAP and go and hit that. In fact, if I had a gun to my head and I had to take a trade, I'd be long for 300 points back up to that level, anticipating that we don't just completely dump at the open, which we very well may do. We very well may do. Anything below there, outside of a lot more structure forming, right? I'm talking about an into the open trade, not going to be valid for me yet, right? Let's say for the first like 10 to 15 minutes, not going to be valid on a short, right? I'll pop back up to that level, tapping yesterday's low, retesting this area here, retesting this volume point of control. If you don't care about volume profile, you can see where this level would come from. Multiple highs, right? Put in. It's a pretty key spot right above price here. Now, we might not do that. We might not do that at all. We might just absolutely send it to the downside and turn this into a pretty bloody day, right? We got room to move. I'm hopping out to the daily to get a higher time frame view, right? We got room to move. We got plenty of room to go. This is not yet exceeding daily ranges or anything like that. Average daily ranges, which are oftentimes disrespected when the market starts moving, really starts moving. To the downside, if we really wanted to go, you know, where would be downside targets on a big move? All the way down here. All the way down here. This temporary volume point of control, right? These highs and lows, tops and bottoms, daily wicks. Like, this is obviously a key spot on this YM contract. Very, very key spot to the downside. Before that would be in here, right, where we have all of these daily lows, right? If we were on the 5-minute or the 15-minute, you see a lot of tops and bottoms here. We got some daily closures down here. You know, we're talking another 150, 200 points down, right? I'd be looking down here to the downside. I don't know that I want to step in front of this, guys. You guys know what my reversion play looks like, or you should by now. About 2 minutes to the open, guys. It's if we sell off at the open, I'm looking for a sweep of something, a test of a level for a long back up towards VWAP, back up towards an area of high volume. If we pop at the open, I'm looking for a short back down to an area of high volume, maybe a continuation. For this one, guys, I don't know if we start to dump at the open that I'm jumping in front of it. And I'm going to say I'm not. I'm not going to. Conversely, right, I'll frame the case for the other side. We could absolutely see a bullish day. We could turn this bullish very quickly. We could be faking everybody out to the downside. We can get a correction, right? What does price action often do when we're moving in a direction like this? We pull back, right? We pull back. This could be a very, very quick and aggressive pullback. Why does this have ads? This could be a very quick and aggressive correction today. I think that would be reasonable. I don't think it would be anything insane to say this could absolutely flip bullish, and we could start to head right back up. You know, we are already very far extended to the downside here. You know, a 500-point move to flip this bullish, sure, could absolutely happen, right? Anything can happen at any time for any reason. That's the way that I subscribe to the market. Overall, coming into this, bearish, right? I think you'd be you know, crazy to say on the lower time frames this is bullish. If we zoom out, right? If we zoom out, like, you know, no problem, dude. What direction are we going here? Straight shot to the upside, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Could this be a normal pullback, right? Before we put a wick in here, we put a higher low in and go and blast through all-time highs? Sure. Market's moving, right? You know, no problem. We could absolutely do that. So, you know, I'm not one as soon as we get a couple down days to be like, oh my God, everything's short, go crazy. I like to look at the higher time frame, look at the lower time frame, try to frame my trades there. So here we go into the open, guys, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. You know what I'm looking at to the upside? I'm sorry, I'm going to keep this really zoomed out today because we have large movement. To the upside, yeah, I said 480s. Probably a little bit higher than that. The 47.5s if we started to push. What are we doing into the open? Just selling off, aggressively selling off. You know, on another day, maybe, man, maybe down here for a long, but I'm not gonna run it. I'm just not gonna run it. I am not a fan. I'm a fan of reversion trading. I'm a fan of mean reversion trading. I am not a fan of stepping in front of a running train where we sold off on a big red day, larger than any day that we've seen for the last couple weeks, and we opened up to the downside. Overnight session, London session, Asia session, we're opening up 200 points below VWAP, and then we're selling off at the open. That's showing extreme weakness. It's showing a ton of weakness, and my discretion calls for not immediately jumping in front of a running train, right, where the market is showing its hand. I also do not have a trade immediately into the open on a day like this to just short it. I think that could absolutely be a play, right? If we're going to sell off here, now's your time. We're already moving lower. You could have already been in, right? 150 points in profit. I don't have a play to do that. It's just not my setup. I don't trade 60 seconds into the open. I don't like to in the direction that price is moving. I think that's a tough thing to make work often. A lot of volatility, a lot of back and forth movement before the market often decides what the hell it actually wants to do. And I don't like to get involved for that. So that's my long rant. That's my analysis. Before I come back to the chat, I'm just going to talk a little bit more, because I think this stuff is important to talk about. We get different market conditions. It brings up different things, right? There's no right or wrong way to approach this, right, guys? There's no right or wrong way to approach this. But here's a fact. It's a fact. Based on data, based on what the prop firms and what actual trading firms share, on a day where the market has sold off considerably, aggressively to the downside, majority of traders are looking long. They're taking long positions, and majority of those traders are losing, right? It's a common mistake to make, to think the market is now cheap, to think that it can't go any lower, like right now, to think that it can't physically move anymore in one direction to the upside or downside, and start aggressively fading that move, trying to catch the bottom, trying to catch the falling knife. I would encourage you to try not to do that. I may look long on this coming up soon. I really may look long on this coming up soon. But if you're going to try something very counter, try to do it tactically. Try to really understand why and how and what you're going to wait for to do that, and then take it. But just buying repetitively on down days or selling repeatedly on up days is a beginner mistake that many make for a long period of time, including myself. And when you look back, all you see is, wow, if I just sold on any 15-minute bar close or 5-minute bar close with a stop above prior bar high, I would have made money. I would have just made money to the downside, right? So, be cautious of that. Be cautious of that. Gnarly sell-off at the open, guys. We are now almost 700 points into this daily candle to the downside. Big selling pressure. Big selling pressure here on YM. Looks like ES and NQ are doing the same, although not as drastically. NQ was already down almost 2% on the morning, showing 1.8. YM looks like it's trying to catch up here. Yeah, guys, I'm not gonna long this thing yet. I think I'd consider it all the way down into like the 650, the 46, 880s, 850s on a really aggressive push, even farther lower. Why? Right? Talking about that. Why? Not only are we super far extended, we're coming into the low end of this area right here. We're coming to the low end of this area of high volume, this consolidation. You could see it from a higher time frame. If there's going to be a level of support, I think this would be a potential area where we find some buyers for a pop back up to VWAP before some continuation of the downside. If not, where's the next area? 400 points lower. We just dump. We go straight down. I do think we are more likely to pull back up to the upside a little bit on this one from around this area right in here. I'm really tempted on it. Coming up right now. I'm gonna say below the 900s, 46 900s. It's got to be another 100 points lower, 80 points lower. 200 point stop loss. Looking for a pop back up to VWAP. It's that mean reversion trade. Like I said, gonna be patient. If we start to sell off, I don't think I want to step in front of it. Right. you know, where am I stepping in front of it on another day? Like right here, like right below session low, right? Here's our pre-market low. You know, we come down, sweep this, and I take it for a pop back up to VWAP. I'm waiting for this to happen for a potential one. This is aggressive, guys. Super, super aggressive. Yeah, maybe 46,000, high 800s for a long on this. If we pop right back up, just because there's plenty of opportunity. If we pop right back up on this, coming up right now, I won't get it. And I would run this half risk. Give myself a second shot. Looks like that might be what we want to do for right now. Yeah, guys, I'm going to run this super zoomed out. I'm going to run this very, very zoomed out on the 15-minute. I know this can be a little bit difficult to watch probably on the live stream, but I got to look left. I got to look over here. And if I'm just staring at this, it doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't give me any information. I know that we're moving down. I know it's a big 15-minute candle moving to the downside. I don't need to be zoomed in on that. So, that was my big rant, guys. That's my big rant for the morning. What's up, guys? What's up? Don't have enough Friday. Yeah, too late. Took a small loss unfunded. That's part of it. Damn, the loser's pit. Yeah. Yeah. You guys are funny. Some retracement expected across. Severe breakdown. Sure. Yep. What's up, Robert? What's up, Pro Trader? What's up, Mike Z? What's going on, team? What's up, Jess on Kick? What's up, everybody? NQ Trend Sniper. What's up? Guys, better adjust because you're probably right. I'm going to take last trade with full L. I'd still be under personal loss limit. Sometimes not trading is the right trade. Yep. Still out for now. Wow. Full port long. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on right now. JK looking for some shorty. Just missed my entry on overnight value area low. And boy, that was a sharp drop. Yeah. Next week would be a good week, to be honest. Probably. YM dumping. Yep. Got my small loss back and got out. My heart can't take it. Yeah. Wrap it up, Rhombus, man. If you're feeling like that, wrap it up. Cook Smith, what's up? Kim ZE, what's up? What's going on, everybody? Yeah, so again, like really aggressive long that I would take with half risk. If we kept going a little bit longer, a little bit farther down, maybe down here. Starting to pull back on this. This is pretty volatile. This is pretty serious, pretty volatile. Definitely starting to pull back on this right now. I'd still consider it. I'd still consider it right in here. Really aggressively long. I'll be the only idiot on YouTube buying. But again, like I talked about, am I going to just sit here and constantly buy and get stopped out and get stopped out and get stopped out, hoping to finally catch the huge reversion, catch the bottom? No, right? I'm going to take the same trade that I try to take every day off the open, and then maybe a continuation if I don't get that first reversion trade. Even on a very aggressive down day like today. But like Wednesday, was it Wednesday that I got stopped? Like Wednesday, if I get stopped short in a pop to the upside, you know, a couple people asked, would you try it again? Would you hop back in? It seems to be, you know, turning. You know, no, my idea was invalidated. We didn't get a reversion. We didn't get that pop back up. Market proved me wrong. So, you know, I don't just keep trying the same thing over and over and over again, right? If you were going to do that, just run a really wide stop loss, you know, or start, you know, pre-plan your average in, that type of move. But it looks like we're finding some buyers here. Yeah, down below. Whoa, down below the low from this week, right? We are putting in. Here is the weekly chart. It's a stupid high time frame, but we're putting low of the weekend. Low of the weekend. Yeah, right in here is what I'm looking at. Right, guys? You know, 4-hour chart. Right in here is what I'm looking at for a potential long. Right? Area of high volume. I think maybe we pop back up a little bit. I Not to say that this is going to be a bullish day, not to catch a huge reversion, not to catch, oh, we're going to go back to all-time high. None of that, right? You know, get my little points, get in, get out, get paid. If we come through this like aggressively and we get like down below the 800s into the 700s, 750s, like way down here, I don't know, man. We might just go. Like we might really, really, really go. We already went off the open, so I'm gonna see. Let's see if I can't test this one. I'm gonna watch this on the YM chart just to let you guys know what I'm gonna do before I do it. I'm gonna watch this on the YM chart, and I'm probably gonna hop over to micros. And run this 5 micros. This is volatile. I like to size down in volatility. I think it's a good skill set to try to develop. But I don't know if we get this. Trying to find some buyers in here. Right? Definitely trying it. They're not wanting to let it go lower. ES looks like it's popping back up to the upside. NQ really aggressively pulled back. Harshly pulled back all the way back up towards VWAP. ES is looking like the same. YM not doing that. Living in its own world here. That's cool. I'm gonna wait for my area. Yeah, I'm gonna say 880s. I'm gonna say 880s is valid for me. 46,880s for a really aggressive long. Yeah, 200 or like 250 point stop loss, like really wide. Probably like 250 point stop loss, really wide. Try to catch a move back up towards VWAP. I think that would give me plenty of opportunity for a nice positive risk to reward trade. But we may start to catch buyers here. But let's see what we get. Good morning, Tricky Fiber. What's up? Caught a little falling knife and ran. Little now just watching. Let's go. Patience has been a prayer is what I've seen. Yep. Yeah. Listen, man, the traders that do really well in this, caught a little falling knife, we said. The traders that do really well in this, really, really well, are, and I used to challenge myself a lot more to do this when I was on ES on the 1 minute chart. They are going to continue to trade in the direction that price is moving, no matter how far extended it is, no matter how big that trend is. And they're going to hold. They're just going to continue to hold. We've seen it a lot across socials. You guys will probably know some of the stuff that I'm talking about. We've got some guys that are putting up huge numbers, really, really big numbers, right? And those traders, traditionally, those guys that you see that on huge up days or huge down days capture that, most of the time when the market's like just chopping and not really doing anything, they're taking L's, right? They're taking small paper cuts. They're going to run a pretty low win rate. And like, this is maybe going to be a very small win or break even. And this is going to be a loss. And this is going to be a decent win. And this is going to be, you know, maybe a break even. This is going to be a break even or a loss. And then this happens. And this is a big win because they're getting in long here, getting in long. They're adding in and they don't close. Same thing here. Same thing here, right? But you're not going to catch this big move, and you're not going to catch this big move if you're not going to hold, right? And that means over here, when you get short and we start to sell off, you're not closing here, right? Because if you're closing here, you're closing here, right? You're getting stopped to break even. So I think it could be worthwhile to think about market's going to move. There's going to be days where it chops. There's going to be days where, you know, it really aggressively trends. What do you want to try to capitalize on? You could be a little bit discretionary and try to read current market conditions and adjust a little bit, but you're not going to be able to say, I know today is the trend day and I'm never going to close, and then I know today is the chop day and I'm going to take my profits at 50 points, right? You're probably going to lean to one of those camps. And I see a lot of traders, and I used to think this, get really frustrated when during a choppy day, they watch people make money. And these guys are, you know, limit orders. They're taking profits quick. You know, maybe it's very modest risk to reward, 1-to-1 negative. And during those days, you're like, man, if I just saw my profit and took it really quickly, I would have made money, and I could have made money back and forth, right? And then what happens? Then we have the huge trend day, and you watch the dude catch a 600-point move to the downside. And you go, damn, if I just never closed my trades ever until the close of the session, I would have made money today, right? You can't have it both ways. There's a double-edged sword with trade management and risk management. And one is not better than the other, but you should recognize what they mean for, for average risk to reward and win rates, and try to decide, what side of the fence you want to be on there. What suits your personality, what suits your entries, catching some buyers here. How do you want to try to manage your trades, right? That's what it comes down to, trade management. Where's your stop loss going to go? Where's your take profit going to go? I think that stuff can be really helpful to think about. It can be helpful to try to keep you from tilting, from being upset because you didn't catch some huge market movement. And certainly during days like yesterday that are not so common, and today, it generates the thought, right? For me personally, on this live account, I'd like to get a little bit better at holding my trades a little bit longer, but I'm not going to be the home run hitter. It's just really not my style. For what I am doing aggressively on the sim-funded prop accounts, the side accounts that I'm trading, right? Working towards hopefully larger payouts, more frequent, and potentially more live accounts. I am chasing larger wins, and I am likely going to generate more losses, right? More frequent losses and more frequent stop outs, holding trades for much larger movements, right? There's a plan of attack, and you have to recognize the more frequent losses, the more frequent stop outs, the trades that move 100 points in your direction and then come back on you. And I don't think a lot of traders do that. I didn't do that really early on, and I wish I did. Yeah, guys, so, we got close on this dip. I was going to take this really, really aggressively long down here. I still might, unless we pop all the way back up. I don't think we're done. I don't think we're done here. Don't think we're done here, but we are catching a really aggressive sell-off and then a pop back up. This is now, again, I'm very zoomed out on the 15-minute here, so don't be fooled. This is 150 points off this low. If we take a look around the horn real quick, ES all the way back up at VWAP. Let's see what happens up here. Do we drive right through? Do we flip this thing bullish? NQ, same thing, all the way back up. 270 points off the low, 1,000 ticks. Big movement. YM is trying to follow suit here. Looks like it wants to. Yeah, a little bit farther down. A little bit farther down for me. A little bit farther down, I would have tried a long. Half risk. It probably wouldn't have been anything too crazy for a back to VWAP move. At this point, it's going to be wait and see. It's going to be wait and see, right? Stayed patient all week. I talked about that. And I've been letting the market come to me. Really staying patient. Happy going no trade if I have to go no trade. And it's worked well for me in this account, man. Took another W yesterday. Took another payout yesterday. Payout number 10 from this Top 1 Futures live account. It's been way better than I could have hoped for. Nothing crazy. All small payouts. All very, very modest. Base hit type of stuff. You guys see me trading, $500,000. I'm not risking the entire account for a $10,000 day. Don't have to do that. There's daily payouts. There's no consistency rule. You could scale if you want to scale, but I'm just going to keep running the same play. It's working well for me. Stage 2 is going to be scaling the account out, not scaling the account up, not taking payouts and starting to size up. But I'm happy trading 1 mini here on YM with plenty of room to work, right? I'm able to take on, I could take $1,000 loss every day of the week and still have, a full another week to take $1,000 loss every day of the week before I start to get myself into trouble. So, I'm trading relatively small for a prop firm account, definitely not relatively small for a live account, right? If you had a $15,000 live account and you were risking $1,000 per trade, you're being pretty aggressive in my humble opinion from a percent perspective. But it's been working solid, man. So biggest thing for me has been patience. Try not to chase. Try not to take dumbass trades. Try not to get FOMO. Just waiting patiently for that really good setup for me to come, and then take a really good loss or a really good win and move on. Also, recognizing when the market's moving really aggressively and I got to size down and I got to widen out. Or when it's chopping, it's we're not, moving too aggressively, and I can size up, right? Or I can tighten up on a stop loss, I should say, like on a move like Wednesday, where I went 100-point stop with a contract, $500 worth of risk, and that worked. But just a little bit about what's working for me and what's not working for me. Just finished trading for the day. Got in longs for NQ. Damn, nice. Kind of wanted to go down too short, but secretly hoping it goes up for portfolio gains. Yeah. I got the ES break above 6,700. Nice. Yeah, holding long is my killer. Taking 5 to 6 trades, 1 to 1, 1 to 2, and then holding if momentum is pushing. 2 to 300 trades are my winning days. Nice. Good morning, Gus. OG Trader, what's up? Patience has been a prayer. Patience has been a prayer, is what I've seen. Yeah. But yeah, guys, there's no wrong way to do it. There's no wrong way to do it, in my humble opinion. You could have success both ways, but you have to recognize in general, right? There's a relationship between risk to reward, okay? There is a break-even win rate associated with 1-to-1, right? It's 50-50. It's a 50% win rate. There's a break-even win rate associated with 3.5-to-1. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but we could find it out, right? Your job, one of these is, in my humble opinion, is not inherently better. They have some differences when it comes to expectancy, but neither of them provide any inherent edge in the market, okay? We're all still up against the same job. Increase past the natural break-even win rate, okay? I don't care if you're a negative risk to reward, right? I don't care if you're a super positive risk to reward. In general, you have to understand that you're going to be able to create an edge, hopefully, but it's a pretty modest edge. And you're only ever going to get past that natural break-even win rate by, a decent percent. But if you're running a very high risk to reward, a high R multiple, you're aiming to make 5 times what you risk on every trade, you're objectively going to have a lower win rate, right? You should, than somebody running a 1-to-1 or a 1.2 or 3 or a negative risk to reward, right? You should, and you're going to need to have a higher win rate, right? Recognize what that means, and recognize what that means for your trades every day. On this side, you're going to win more often, right? You're going to probably be right a little bit more often than you're wrong. Over here, you're going to take small losses all of the time. But then guess what? When your day comes, here you are. You know what I'm saying? You're going to take your really, really big outsized win. Know what that means for your equity curve. Know what that means for your mindset, and reflect on that. But, you should decide on the front end and recognize what that means. If we have questions on win rate and risk to reward, I'm happy to talk about it. But there seems to be a lot of confusion around win rate and risk to reward, and I was myself, and I argue with people online. It's basic math surrounding win rate and risk to reward. And I say something that seems to piss a lot of people off, which is, in random market conditions with no spreads, commissions, fees, swaps, broker fees, platform fees, which we know exist, in completely random market conditions, there is no edge. There's no edge in risk to reward alone. You can run a 5-to-1 risk to reward. You can run a 0.5-to-1 risk to reward. You could run a 1-to-1. You will end up break even over a large enough sample size, entering randomly with any risk to reward. That's the facts. That's the math behind this. Now you might say markets aren't random. They trend. Okay, we're introducing technical analysis where you're going to identify where it's trending and pick an entry and exit spot, right? but in completely random market conditions with nothing that erodes, you know, your P&L, which there is, where you would lose money over time in any of these instances. There's no inherent edge in risk to reward alone. That can free you. It can free your mind a little bit, right? You know, you don't have to shoot for a 2 or 3 to 1. You don't have to shoot for a 1 to 1. You don't have to shoot for a negative risk to reward. You can do whatever the hell you want. We're all up against the same challenge, which is increasing our win rate past the natural break-even win rate. First, making sure we're able to break even, and then increase past that. The one caveat that I will add, and there's others, but one that I'll add, which is important, is there are disadvantages and advantages on positive risk to rewards and negative risk to rewards when it comes to expectancy, when it comes to your overall mindset, right? Your psychology. There are things that add in there. But as far as creating an edge in the market, creating a positive expectancy by having a win rate and risk to reward combination on average that provides a positive expectancy, risk to reward alone cannot do that. So it's important to note that. It was something that was really, really shocking to me. Really shocking to me. Early on. All right. Looking to add above 60. You guys are getting long here. Getting long. Around the same thing 4 hours ago. What do I have? Why do I feel that MES will run to yesterday's high? Maybe. Got paid, but it could have gone bad fast. Broke a rule. Yeah, take it easy. Take it easy, guys. It's Don't F It Up Friday. Don't F it up. Yeah, so YM and so ES and NQ took off like a rocket. Let's take a look at this together. YM did not. Why is NQ not starred on here? Let's set this up. Let's get rid of MES. Let's get rid of MYM. And let's just have NQ, ES, and YM on here. Nice. Yeah, dude, so NQ, harsh reversion after sweeping pre-market lows, pop back up, and now we are almost 400 ticks, almost 100 points above VWAP, pushing to the upside. ES looking very, very similar. YM not doing that, trying to find buyers down here. This isn't a terrible long from all the way down here. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not my really aggressive buying into selling pressure. I like to be buying as price is falling or selling as price is rising for this really aggressive trade. If I took something long from down here, like I talked about, 200, 250 point stop loss, you know, I'm just below the lows. I'm right in here, and I wanted to get long down here. That's what I would have liked a lot better. A long down here for a move right back to VWAP. Really aggressive stop loss all the way down here. All the way down here. This, it's not bad. You know, we're waiting for buyers. You're not really catching the falling knife. You're starting to get a reversion here. But I'd really be targeting a pretty big reversion. Yeah, and that would be... Yeah, I wouldn't just be catching a quick pop back up, right, guys? Like, I wouldn't just be catching a quick pop back up. It's a different thesis. So this looks like we want to find buyers here. Looks like we want to find buyers, at least for right now here in YM. We're trying it. ES and NQ came back strong for now, right? This could absolutely turn right back down to the lows, right? We could absolutely continue right back down. We could turn from VWAP or right above on these and pop back down. But for me on YM, which I'm trading, sorry for being so twitchy with the chart, but it's just so hard to see anything when we are multiple days before we see anything looking left. Yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna want this short if we hold down here multiple 15-minute candles, and then we start to go. I think we come back down, man. And honestly, what I really would have liked is to see the same movement out of YM and to give me a short. It's really what I would have liked here. Gonna be wait and see mode for now, guys. ES with a very heavy and declining cumulative volume delta. Interesting to watch on a day like today. I even have NQ loaded up because it's just moving so much. It's interesting to watch. NQ book map, very, very thin book. Much different looking than ES. Let's see, chat. Let's see. Waiting for a decent pullback to go long. Macro time, what's up? NQ, rocket ship. Close the gap. Close to gap fill on NQ. There you go. Delta dropping. Yep. Zach Einstein giving us tips. Listen, man. Like I try to talk about, I try to give you guys context. I'm a regular idiot. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not on prop firm leaderboards. I don't have it all figured out. I still make mistakes. I'm still learning myself, right? I think it's important to be transparent about all of those things. I just have been trading for years, right? And I think I've got some juice. I have some stuff that seems to work okay for me. I'm in a prop firm live account that I took a payout on yesterday. That was my 10th payout in about 5 weeks from the same account that I trade almost every day. I've taken multiple other payouts from multiple other accounts. I also trade live accounts. Does that mean I'm always making money? Absolutely not. Does that mean I'm not making mistakes and not losing accounts? Absolutely not. But I think it might be valuable to hear what seems to work well for me and what seems to not work well for me, and to also watch it play out in real time for free. Maybe you say, this dude's an idiot. He has no idea what he's doing, and I'm going to fade him every day and make money. Maybe that works. I don't know. But definitely not Einstein. Definitely don't have it all figured out. There's plenty of other guys that are going to yell, I'm the best trader in the world, #1. Everybody else sucks. I'm the best. I don't believe that. I think there's plenty of other heavy hitters out there, man. And I try to take from them as well, in the same way that I'm describing maybe you guys taking some from me. That's the way that I approach this. I'm a student of the game. I'll always be a student of the game. Try to stay a student of the game in everything that I do. I think the minute you think you have it all figured out, you think you got something and you don't have to keep learning, you don't have to keep putting the work in, it's about time the market or whatever you're doing smacks you across the face and then humbles you and says, sit back down at the desk. You got a lot to learn. Yeah, guys, I'd still consider this thing long. I'd still consider this long. Same area that I was looking before. 46, 880s, 46, 870s. It would be very aggressive. I think I would pop over to a micro chart to take it with 5 micros, but I'll be looking for something down here long if we get one more crack to the downside. I don't know that we do it. There's definitely buyers defending this level here, right? We are failing to continue lower. We started to pop back up. I think a reversion near VWAP, even if we're going to continue lower, is in store near the open, and that's the same trade that I'm aiming for every day. This is aggressive. I did say I didn't want to take it long right off the open, jump in front of that running train to the downside. So I'm going to be patient here, but I am looking potentially long if we get one more crack to the downside. I'd look to long it about 100 points lower. Well, not now, about 70 points lower. 950s. Yeah, guys, I'm just going to lock in for a minute. I know we got some questions in the chat. I'm happy to talk about it. Oh, let's see. Waiting for a decent pullback. I thought about this too, but I chickened out on the stall today because it's Friday. How do you like the heat map? I love the heat map. I think it could be a great tool. Looking at the fuzzy screen rattles my brain. What's up, Neo? YLM, can you explain a little bit more about Bookmap and how you confirmed your trade? Yep. I did a lot on my live session yesterday, but let's do this real quick. I'm gonna throw this up on the screen. We'll talk about it for a second. First off, patiently waiting for longs too. Liquidity is building in this range. Yeah. First off, I'm partnered and affiliated with Bookmap. Important for me to be transparent about that. I can't be unbiased if I stand to make money, which I do. If you guys want to check out Bookmap, that link provides you the best deal that's available right now. No code necessary. It's 3 months of Global Plus for $147. Bookmap is a paid software, paid subscription. You also need level 2 data. Okay, you need a level 2 data feed. You can also, from that same link, get the best deal on Bookmap data, which provides you MBO level 2 data, right? I have Bookmap data for a few of these. I got Rhythmic for CBOT. So just real quick to talk about it, right, without getting too distracted here. Here's what we're looking at. And I think it looks confusing. It looks crazy. I think it looks confusing. I think it looks crazy. I think it looks intimidating. Once you look at a DOM, a depth of market, I think this becomes really, really comfortable to look at. You're like, wow, this is easy for me to read. Here's what this is providing, the information this is providing, right? You can decide if it's useful to you or not. Price levels. We did this yesterday, so apologize for being repetitive, but we got questions on it. Price levels for ES, quantity of orders in real time on the book, above and below price, right? These are sell orders resting at specific price levels. If we zoom in, we can see exactly how many orders right now, and they're changing in real time, are at a specific price, like 67.20 on ES, right? We can watch what happens historically as we come into levels that have a considerable amount on the book, like we are right now here into the 15s, the 67.16s, 67.15s, right? The heat map is displaying this information. All it's displaying is what areas have a higher quantity of orders on the book relative to today, right? Because on another day where there's 200 on the book everywhere, this is not going to light up unless there's like 500. You can also adjust this. You can customize it. You could look at a million different things. But this is best bid and ask. It's the price lines right in between. Volume bubbles overlaying that price, right? Price levels here, quantity of orders on the book. This is your order book right here. And then down below, this is a volume tool. This is cumulative volume delta, which I do like to look at. I don't know if you would consider volume delta order flow. I think it's just a volume tool. And then you have a line chart that's printing. I don't know what you would call this, not a histogram, but I guess a line chart that's printing for cumulative volume delta. You can use this a number of different ways. Here's the main ways that I utilize this in my trading. Number one, and I utilize this in a stupidly simple, dumb guy type of way. You can you can understand and create market auction theory and a whole bunch of different order flow, concepts. I look at this from a pattern recognition, very, very simple way. On example ES here, right? Do we have large quantity of orders resting above or below price? I probably want to know about that because I know if we get to those levels, one of two things traditionally happens. They're either used as support. We come down, we can't fill those orders, right? We can't lift that. Or we fill and we bounce really aggressively. Or conversely, if we are selling off, maybe like we are today, and we have multiple levels down below price, those could be targets. They could act like fuel to the fire. But as I'm trading as a whole, I want to know if we've got 150 on the book at 67.10 on ES, for example, because if I have a target that I want to hit at 67.05, and I'm short, I got to accept, or I want to be able to be aware of, I'm going to hold through a break of a lot of liquidity that we may not get to, we may not break. Maybe I have a stop loss around one of those areas, and I recognize that when we get there, we often see an increase in volatility, right? Because we got a lot of volume to be traded. Price can move really rapidly around these levels. Maybe I want to be aware of that. I want to be cautious of that. So they provide, number one, at the most basic sense, some other areas of interest that I might not have marked on my chart. they often coincide with prior day highs and lows, pre-market highs and lows, big round psychological numbers, right? Like 6700s. We got a lot on the book here. They change in real time. There's manipulation, there's spoofing. All of those things are true. There's, algos that run, which we don't really see too much of today because we're moving really, really fast. But those are just a couple of basic ways that I start to pay attention to what's going on Bookmap. You can, a million different ways you could use this. I also do like to watch as we are pushing higher or lower. Are we getting a lot of volume behind that, right? And you can see this on traditional volume, maybe on your candlestick chart. You can see this on other volume tools. But the way that it prints volume can be really, really easy to interpret, right? Do we have a lot of volume being filled at one level that we're failing to get below? Maybe we're starting to find some support there. Maybe we're starting to find some buyers. Are we starting to sell off really aggressively, kind of like we are right now? We got a lot of volume behind it. Maybe we go check out those 6710s, right? Look at what's happening on cumulative volume delta, right? We're pushing the downside. CVD is exactly what it sounds like. Cumulative volume delta. It's the difference between buy and sell volume anchored to a specific point, and it just keeps calculating that. If we are declining in price and we are declining on cumulative volume delta, to me, the way that I interpret this just from basic pattern recognition, that is showing me that we have strength behind that move to the downside. We may continue. Not always. It could just be a ton of sellers, and we're getting ready to bounce for whatever reason off a specific level. But what we're seeing right here would indicate that we got a good likelihood that we want to come down and fill these orders at 6710, or at least go and test them. If the opposite was happening, for example, and we were coming to the downside, but that cumulative volume delta was like not moving at all, or we were positive, we're growing on cumulative volume delta, we have a ton of buyers stepping in. What does that tell me on days where I've watched that happen? We got a good chance to bounce. We got a good chance to catch a reversion. We do not have a ton of sell side volume behind this move to the downside for continuation, right? Do I use that exclusively? Do I frame a reference on this and just take trades based on cumulative volume delta or some level on Bookmap, right? The 6710s that we're coming into right now? No, not at all, right? But do I think they are another interesting area to look at on the chart? Yeah, take a look at how the 6710s acted right now, right? We came right into it by a point. We bounced all the way up, another 18 points here on ES. Now we came back into it. We're testing multiple times, came into it pretty rapidly. Testing multiple times. It does look like some of it got filled first. Let's see how we act here. Do we drop right through it really aggressively, or do we bounce here? You can watch this stuff day in and day out and decide for yourself if it's helpful. I think if you are going to, test it out, 3 months is a pretty reasonable time to do it. Do you need Bookmap? Do you need order flow to make money? No. You could trade with whatever you want to trade with. It's not magic. It's not some special tool. It's available to everybody, right, in a number of different ways. I find it helpful. It's information that you cannot get from a candlestick chart objectively. Despite the craziness that I continue to read, even though I don't follow along with it, from the smart money crowd or the guys that just inherently talk about order flow in a way that is objectively incorrect. This is order flow, right? This is liquidity resting on the book, okay? There's different types of liquidity that we could talk about, internal and external, right? Limit orders versus stop orders, where stops might be resting. But if you want to use order flow in your trading, you should probably get set up with some form of level 2 data to show you live liquidity, right? To show you resting orders above and below price, changing in real time, and volume, right? And volume tools, so you can watch what happens when we get to these levels maybe that you're watching on the front end. Does that order stay there, or is it, is it actually being filled? What volume is being traded? Whether or not that's useful is up to you. Totally up to you. But as far as what order flow is and what liquidity is in the market, right, is a definition. This basic market mechanics and definitions that we're talking about. So anyway, hope that helps. I read the funniest stuff. I know you guys know what I'm talking about, but I read the funniest comment out of that group this week. It's hysterical. I think it's just rage bait, honestly. It's just engagement farming. Anyway, looking at this, man, finding buyers, we do not want to move past. We do really not want to move past these 950s here. We've tested multiple times. ES pretty aggressively bouncing again off of those 6710s that we're watching here. Looking like it's making the case to hold VWAP. NQ looking like it's making the case to hold VWAP. You know, the long play is here, guys. It's not really great though for me. That's the long play. You know, I'm acknowledging that we're finding some buyers here. We are really trying to build a base. Heavy bearish movement overall, but I'm expecting this pullback to VWAP. That could be the move. That could be the move. Anyway, if you guys want to check out Bookmap, Bookmap is in the chat. If you want to hop in the 100% free trading Discord, I have that pinned to the top of the chat as well. No VIP, no course, no mentorship, none of that fun stuff. Just free 99, live trading every damn day. Answering questions. We could yap about Bookmap. I got a ton of Bookmap videos on my YouTube as well. Not a ton. I think 2 or 3. Where I just go into the basics of Bookmap. If you want to learn more about Bookmap, again, I don't consider myself the Bookmap expert, the order flow expert. There's a ton of videos on their site. I think it does take a long time to learn order flow and Bookmap, or just decide how you want to use it or not use it. So it is worth noting. Like anything else in trading, you're gonna have to spend some time on it. This feels like the long, man. This feels like the move back to VWAP. This feels like it. I'm not gonna chase this. Here's my, my traditional 1-to-1. That wouldn't be so bad. That wouldn't be so bad, but this feels like buyers want to try it. Conversely, we come through this low, it's going to look like a move to the downside. I think I'm going to stick to my guns here, guys, and wait for my level to be hit, which is the 880s, right? I called that number out a handful of times. Right around the 880s for a potential long if we were going to move a little bit lower into this area of high volume, this consolidation. I'd still try that. We didn't get our beautiful pullback up to VWAP. I'd still take that long. Down below this low, but this looks like buyers want to try to take this thing higher right now. And if we pop back up through VWAP and then sell off down through the low, it's gonna be a no-go. Appreciate the Bookmap review. I keep thinking I'll get it. Look at it alone and get myself confused. Yeah, it's, again, you got to be in a good spot, I think. Like, if you got something that's starting to work, maybe, hold off on adding anything else in. I'm a big believer in simplicity over everything, right? And I'm somebody who stands to make money from you going to use a link to buy Bookmap. I think as simple as you can make your trading, the least amount of things you have to take into consideration, the better. The more you can focus on price action and market structure, the better. The less indicators, the less tools you use, the better. So if you have something that's starting to work, you haven't been using it already, maybe hold off. If you are really enthralled by it, you're enthusiastic, I don't know if that's the right word for it, you're really enthusiastic about it, it's enticing you, go for it. But recognize it's like anything else, right? You're going to have to take wins and losses with it. You're going to have days where it doesn't do what you expect, right? Like I described something with cumulative volume delta. There are plenty of days, right, where the normal does not hold true. Just like when we talked about edge full and initial balance, opening ranges, those stats don't always hold. We could have an 85% chance of one thing happening over the other, and we can get the 15% day back to back to back, right? Same with Bookmap. We can completely disrespect everything that's going on the book. We can have a rapidly declining cumulative volume delta and just grind higher all day. You have to You have to watch it for enough times through enough different market conditions, in my opinion, to get a good feel for it. I think most guys that use order flow will tell you that. There's a long learning curve with things like, using depth of market. Pretty long learning curve. There is with candlesticks also. There is with, price and time and volume. This feels like the pop, guys. This feels like the pop back up. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what we were talking about, right? We started to have a lot of buy-side volume filling here on YM, right? As we came down right into this area, even off of the lows, we were continuing to grind higher on cumulative volume delta. This to me, right, the way that I read this would indicate, some buyers attempting to step in, build this base, and drive this bad boy higher. If we were hammering against lows and this was completely dropping off through a cliff, sellers are outweighing buyers by way of volume. Does that mean one thing will happen over the other? No, not always. Maybe it gives you a little indication. Better way to structure risk. Anyway, I'm going to wait for this thing to go, guys. I'll be right back and take a quick break. Not going anywhere just yet. And it's Friday. We might have a giveaway. I don't know. We've been giving away accounts left and right. Hang tight. We'll see. Chat, how we looking? How are we looking, guys? Kind of just chopping down around here, man. Kind of just chopping down around these lows, man. I don't know. Gonna be an interesting one. Gonna be an interesting one. Let's see. You only need IFVGs and breaker blocks to make the money. Throw in a little CSD. Yeah, no. That's all a bunch of complicated BS. Got in, got out. NQ long. VWAP break. Very nice for 353. Beautiful. Beautiful. Appreciate your honesty. It's a rare thing in this industry. I hope you make thanks. Refreshing your honesty and trading do's and don'ts. Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Listen, I don't know. I don't really know another way. I think if you're not gonna be, I don't know, the day and age that we live in, I think it's silly to try to do anything other than just, show whatever you're doing and try to be honest about it. The other stuff is so easily readable. It's like laughable to me. Damn, I think I'm done for the week. 0 trades. Yeah, that's discipline. Yeah, man. Listen, if it's not setting up for you, man, not setting up for you. Yeah, this is looking like the long play back to VWAP here on YM. That's really looking like it. Not really my reversion play. Not really my reversion play here. Aggressively long, like I said, down around the 880s. I talked about that a handful of times with half risk would have been pretty sweet. We didn't get that. We came down into the 950s and we started to chop. And then you could take a continuation back, maybe with a stop like just below the low. But that's not really my reversion trade. So we're coming into this 10:30 a.m. time frame. We're gonna get our initial balance. Set. Where's my object tree? Here was our initial balance high and low from yesterday. We talked about some of the stats behind that. If you don't know what this is or what I'm talking about, feel free to ask in the chat. We can go over it again. Initial balance high and low. Really strong stats around it. That played out really, really nicely yesterday, right? The way that these were supposed to play out, the statistics, right, the stuff that happens more often than not, played out. We went down. We formed the low first, which means that's more likely to break. We broke that, and then we broke the low. We didn't come back down and break the high. And when we broke the low, we broke by a pretty considerable amount. We didn't just sweep it. So this is... Oh, sorry, guys. This is going to be our IB high and low today. 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern, unless we push higher right now, which we didn't. This can be our IB high and low. We know that by a real strong percent of the time, if we break this IB high, we don't come back down again and break this IB low, right? Over 70% of the time, over a pretty large sample size. We formed this first. So according to the statistics, this should have broken first, should break first. I shouldn't say that because this hasn't broken, although we're very close and it looks like we want to crack it. This should break first, and we should extend. But I got a good feeling that we don't follow these stats today, based on the big downtrend, the IB high getting formed first, the low getting formed second, and then us climbing all the way back up to the high. And I got a good feeling that this low can be taken again. So let's see. Just took out the last big seller. This is going up now. Maybe. If it does not give me a 15-minute gap, I look for buy. So let's see. Good morning. What's up, Trade Current Futures? Big Frank. I like the IB strategy. Thanks for bringing it up. Yeah. Look, here, we'll talk about it again. this isn't really setting up for me just yet, guys. I'm going to look for some kind of continuation trade on this. Like, if we come all the way back down on this, I'll tell you this. If we come all the way back down on this really aggressively, I'm going to look for a continuation. It's going to be the same play as yesterday. If we come down and break this IB low, I'm going to look for it. I'm going to look for it with a wide stop. Yeah. But let's talk about this real quick, because we talked about Edgeful yesterday, which is the data provider of the statistics that I'm talking about. You can get these from other places. I am, again, a partner and affiliated with Edgeful. I'm talking about three things today: Top 1 Futures, Bookmap, and Edgeful. These are really the only main things that I'm talking about being partnered and affiliated with. But I'm biased. I stand to make money. I can't be unbiased, right? So do your own research, make your own decisions. I hardly ever talk about it, but I kept getting asked about it. So, here we go again. This is Edgeful, right? Let's go ahead and reload this. Sorry, guys. There we go. This is Edgeful. Again, we are looking at data around specific market movements for specific times and specific amounts of data, right? So here's the one that we're looking at right now. Initial balance breakout. There's a lot of stats behind the initial balance. What the initial balance is the first 1 hour of the trading range, right? What we just marked out on this chart. 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern. That is what is referred to as the initial balance, the high and low that's put in. We have stats behind this, right? Here's for 6 months of data. About 70% of the time, right? 70% of the time. If we break one side of the initial balance, that's all we do. We have a single break. 70% of the days over the last 6 months. You can increase this or decrease this. You could say 6 months is not enough time, Zach. Tell me about 3 years. Maybe we've just been doing something stupid for the last 6 months. We're trending in one direction. We had a very bullish market. Give me 3 years of data. Why is this taking so damn long to load? There you go. Still 70%, right? Multiple other reports, which I'm not going to pull up on this, but just to talk about it a little bit more. There's a report that tells you on average, if we break one side, how far we extend. There's a report that says once it forms at 10:30, one side is more likely to break first every single day by about 70% based on which side was formed first and last. You might be able to use these to your advantage, right? This is the stuff, in my opinion, that you look for in back testing. This is the pattern recognition that you try to form, right? Around a specific range. You can look at different opening ranges, the 5-minute, the 15-minute, the 30-minute, 2 hours, right? You could look at prior day high and low. You could look at overnight high and low. Edgeful just gives you specific data on it in these nice reports, right? You could look for different instruments, whatever you want under the sun. You can customize these. You could look for different sessions. I think this stuff is pretty helpful. Is it overstated a lot, in my humble opinion? Yes. Does just buying or selling the break of initial balance give you a 70% win rate or some other a 70% edge in the market? No, that's not how this works. There's a whole trading session, right, that we're talking about. But I think being aware of these strong skews in the way the market moves over a large sample size based on the objective data can be helpful, right? Some of this stuff is obvious. Some of this stuff you might know about, right? I'll tell you one, like I talked about yesterday, just real quick again, that, I make the case for that I really wasn't aware of, and I was caught trading on the wrong side of it a lot. I was trading Power Hour for Top Step TV quite a while. Last year, earlier this year, you guys have probably seen me on Top Step TV before. Maybe you haven't. I was trading Power Hour there often, right? And this is a statistic for the last hour of the day. Power Hour, right? From 3 p.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern. How often does YM or NQ or ES or whatever you want to watch put a new high of day or a new low of day in the last hour of the trading session? Not often. Not often at all, okay? 82% of the days, and we just had one, but 82% of the days, a new low of day is not being made from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. So you have to ask yourself, and you might want to be aware of this and say, well, if I'm shorting the market at 3:20 p.m. and I have a take profit way past the low of day, That has not happened 82% of the days over the last, 100 days, right? Same with, new high of day being made. Not as obvious as one, because I thought, yeah, new highs and lows are getting put in the last hour all the time. The market closes at, near its highs, all of the time in that last hour. I would have figured, right, if you asked me, that we're putting new highs and lows in. It's not the case, right? So some of these could be helpful, right? Up to you guys if you want to check it out or not. Again, similar stuff you could find in backtesting. You can throw ranges on the chart. You can look at a ton of different stuff. Ended today in red, quite disappointed. Daniel, sorry to hear that, brother. Sorry to hear that. Tell us what happens, man. Tell us what happened if you want. But keep your head up. Probably lock it up for the day. Don't do anything crazy. I have good results on the IB retracement to 25% and breakout to 25% extension. Nice. Dwayne, so tell me how you're using that one. IB high and low sets, right? Are you looking for a break and retracement and then a continuation to 25% of the IB range, right? Something like that. I'm curious to how you use that to form a trade. Bigger version out of ES, bigger version out of NQ. Man. YM following suit here. Looks like we want to break the IB high, come back up towards VWAP. Yeah, longs in here would have paid okay. Longs in here would have paid. Not really my setup though, guys. Not really anything for me just yet. Not really anything for me just yet. FOMC another red folder days almost guarantee IB breaks both sides. I love the 3:30 to 4:10 p.m. trading time on NQ. I am rarely available to trade that. Yeah, nice. Again, context, right? Market context. Is there a red folder news day? Is there, extreme volatility? Do we have a 10 a.m. high impact news event that's much more likely to cause a crazy increase in volatility, potentially break both sides of that range? Maybe you're not weighing the stats so heavily. But again, I don't use them exclusively. I don't even mark this for most days. We're just marking it a couple days to watch these stats play out. I like to use it to be more aware of market movements, right? And that comes from staring at the charts. You create a ton of pattern recognition. I don't think there's any substitute for that. But I think you can shortcut a little bit by being made aware of a bunch of reports right in front of your face, 70% of the time, one thing happens over another. 80% of the time, one thing's happened over another, over a large sample size, specific times of the day on the instrument that you're trading. You want to probably be aware of that and understand whether you're trading against or for that in whatever setup that you're looking for. I think that could be helpful. Took a move from today VWAP to prior day VWAP on MES. Picked up a little. Chickened out before prior day VWAP though. Got to learn to hold. Yep. Here we go. Breaking IB high. Yeah, that's the tough part. Holding trades. Holding your winning trades. Let's ask, right? How good are you at holding those losing trades? How good are you at holding those losing trades, right? And I'm asking, sarcastically, because we know the answer. Nobody really ever has a problem chickening out of their losing trades before the stop loss. They don't constantly find themselves great at the losers. Yeah, there you go. We don't constantly find ourselves closing our trades halfway or 3/4 to the stop loss, right? We almost love to do the opposite. Not close it at all. Move the stop loss farther away. Add in. And on the winning trades, how do we fare? We almost always want to clip that thing early. We never want to hold it all the way to the take profit, and we are almost never moving the take profit further and further and further away, right? That's the trade management piece where if we just flipped that on its head, like directly opposite, a lot of traders would be making money, right? So many traders stay stuck for so long strictly on trade management And when I review my trading, honestly, when I review my own personal trading, it's always the area that I could have the most improvement on. I'm pretty good at staying patient. I'm pretty good at not coming outside of my trade setup, at not trading on tilt anymore, right? At not exceeding my, max loss limits for the day. You guys watch me trade. You watch, my red days and my green days. What could I do better? Clip my losers earlier, hold my winners longer. There's almost always more for me on the table. And oftentimes when I am very, very wrong on a trade and I have a wide stop, I could do a better job of clipping those. Not always, and I got pretty good discretion around it, but there's room for improvement there, as there is with almost everybody, right? So it's one of the most difficult things. It's the reason that so many people lose money trading, right? We are hardwired to do the opposite of what we should be doing in the markets. And I think I made a reel about this. I talked about it. It did pretty well on socials. There's a day in most profitable traders' careers, right, in their journeys. There certainly was for me. It's a couple of them, where they look at their equity curve that's a straight shot down, and they review their trades, and they held all of their losers to a stop loss or past it, and they clipped all of their winners early. They clipped it at break even. They clipped it for a couple points. They got nervous, and they watched the market run. And had they just done the opposite, and when they were wrong on their trades, they clipped those losers early. They took those paper cuts, and they held on to those banger trades, and they generated a much higher risk to reward and a much lower win rate. They would have made money. They would have made money in the long run. And boy, is that frustrating. I'll never forget it. I had a day where I did that, and I looked at my equity curve, which was a straight shot down. It was just slow bleeding, losing every day. It was just incredible how consistent I was at losing. And I looked and I said, if I did the exact opposite, not with entries, not because I was so bad at picking an entry spot, not because I needed to sell when I was buying and buy when I was selling, but if I did the exact opposite on trade management, if I clipped all of these losers early, and I, instead of clipping my winners, how much more was left for me on the table? Or what did that look like? It would have been an opposite. It would have been almost an exact opposite equity curve. It was wild. I would have only needed to hold a couple of those winners and clip the losers. But it's difficult. We are fearful when we should be hopeful. We're hopeful when we should be fearful. And if you can really try to remember that, you can feel the emotion, right? Because you're still going to feel the emotion. This is the mindset psychology piece that everybody talks about. And you create a different response to it, right? Market starts selling off. You're in profit. You want to close early. You know that that's the wrong input, right? And you create a different response to that input. Your fear is invalid. It's not helping you in this situation. It's helping you in other spots in life, but not in the markets. And you have to flip that on its head. And the best traders, right, are able to do that. Hence the guys that, you're continually watching hold trades for hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit and prop accounts, all damn day. They are accepting that risk that it will come back on them and that they will have days where it comes back on them. The market's proving them right, and they know that over a large sample size, they're going to need to hold on to those winners to outweigh all the losses. So, something to think about. Yeah, guys. I don't know. I really don't know about this. We've broken IB high. Gnarly bearish day. Sold off at the open. We're back up to VWAP here. The continuation play is a short. I would be trading against IB high being broken, right? I would have to acknowledge that I'm trading against that stat. Not that I would need to hold for an IB low break, but this is really an interesting movement out of this market, and I think this might be what we're getting today. The really frustrating market sold off yesterday. Everybody's bearish. Sold off through Asia, London, sold off right into the open, break the low, and then everybody's getting short for the pullback, short from VWAP, short. When we come and cook everybody. does this flip into a really, really nice bullish candle? Like, is that what we're going to do? Or are we going to come back down and fill this out? I think I'm going to have to really take a tough trade here, guys, which is a short. Despite these other two. I really think I'm going to have to take this one from VWAP. It's a tough one, and it's a tough one to take, but I think I'm going to have to. Does this give me an okay way to structure risk? I think we're either coming back up here or we're going to hang out in this range. And this is not a terrible one to take, so I'm going to get ready for this, guys. I hate trading against this IB high break. I really do. I think I'm going to look for it right into like the 260s, 270s, right above VWAP, like right in here. Something along these lines. Yeah, we're either popping right back up on this, and we're going to flip this whole day bullish. We're either coming all the way back up here, or we're going to continue this move to the downside. And I'm going to assume same with ES and NQ. You know, we're either just going to completely reverse this into a big bullish day, or we are indeed going to come back down lower. This is a tough one, but I think I'm gonna have to stay consistent, man. This is the continuation short to the downside, and I think I gotta take this. I gotta take this just for consistency's sake. Yeah, guys, I'm going to jump in on this short. I'm just waiting for a little bit more of a push to the upside. I don't know that we get it. Coming right back down to VWAP. I wanted just a little bit better entry. 20 points will make a little bit of a difference. Not too much, but I'm going to look at this short. I'm going to trade against this IB high. Again, looking short on this, guys. I'm just waiting to see if I get a little bit better entry. Watching this price dance around. There we go. I'm in short, guys. I'm in short on this bad boy. Continuation short to the downside. I'm short from 47,253. Stop at 47,450. I think one of two things are going to happen here, guys. It's a very similar play to yesterday. Very, very similar play to yesterday. I think one of two things happen here. We continue above VWAP. We do not come back down into this IB high. We start closing outside. We push to the upside, and we come right back to up to this area of high volume. Right, we come right through this very, very quickly. I think if we do start to pop, it's going to be an aggressive stop out. It'll be a very quick stop out, and I think we'd be coming all the way back up into the 500s, 47 500s. But that's not what I'm trading for. I'm trading for a continuation to the downside. I wouldn't need this IB low to break for this to be a nice W. I'm going to trade back into this area of high volume, back down to the middle ground of this IB initial balance here, back down to this consolidation, right? Taking out some of these 15-minute bar lows right back into here. That's the play. Bearish structure for the last couple days. Bearish open, bearish for Asia, London. Bearish move on the push to the downside. Retest of VWAP. I'm taking it short. Retest of VWAP. I'm taking it short. Not the reversion trade, right? Reversion trade would have been long in here for a pop back up. I don't see another one coming, right? We're either going to come all the way back down to the lows or come all the way back up through the high of the day, right? So from in here, it's not from the extreme trade, which I like much better. But I think we're at very least going to come all the way back up through my stop loss to this 47 500s, or come all the way back down into this initial balance, come back down to challenge these lows, right? So at least I have a way to structure risk, where if I'm wrong, I'm dead wrong, right? The play is along, and, you know, at that point, we will have came 523 points off of the low, right? And we're just going to continue pushing higher. Or we are going to keep this as a bearish daily bar for the day, and we're going to come back down lower. So that's my play. Short one mini from 47,253. Stop at 47,450. More important than the entry and all of these things, we're going to talk about like what we just talked about, right? The structuring of risk. I have $985 of risk on, right? I accept that. I accept that on the front end. I accept that in a blink of an eye, that can get ran and I'm out for $1,000. If I don't accept that and I don't want to risk losing that, I shouldn't have that. I shouldn't have that on, right? I should have a lower position size. I shouldn't trade at all. I should do something else, right? Number two, I'm going to try to hold on to my winner, right? I'm going to try to hold on back down towards these lows. I don't like the idea of having to hold for a break of low of day. I love the idea of being able to get out well before a low of day, just on a head back down towards these lows, right? I think that's much more likely to happen. If we had to say what's more likely to happen, that we, just kind of pull back down, put a higher low in and then blast off, or if we come all the way back down and continue, right? So I like the risk structure in the sense that I don't need to hold for a break of low to pick up $1,000. 1-to-1. In fact, 1.5, it would be over 1.5 to come all the way down and break that. So we'll see. Somewhat volatile. This is not a very wide stop compared to what I usually do on days with lower volatility. But I think this is a decent invalidation point where if we come outside of this, I'm comfortable with this. I'm comfortable with us checking up here, right? Coming and checking up here real quick, tapping in this. We come all the way up to these lows, I'm out. I'm just dead wrong. It's no reversion around VWAP. Again, at that point, we're 230 points above VWAP. I'm dead wrong. It's a flip bullish, and, it was buys off the low. So I'm happy with this one. Good trade, good entry, good risk structure. Now, can I manage it, right? Is it going to be a good loss or a good win? Don't know. Don't know for a hole in the wall. No idea. I've literally absolutely no idea what's going to happen next. We are still trading in headline markets. Trump could tweet something right now and say, China's getting taxed, tariffs back on China. And the market, just rips or dumps or does whatever the hell it does. Recognize that stuff on the front end. I think it'd be helpful. But yeah, and again, pre-planning trade management, not planning to hold for a huge winner, right? Recognizing that, hey, we might sell off super harshly and put another huge down day in. And if you close in here, you're never going to capture that. That's cool, right? I'm accepting that on the front end. I'm making that game plan. I allow myself some discretion, just to finish off this thought. I allow myself some discretion to say, based on market generated information, an hour goes by and we're just chopping at VWAP. I allow myself to make a decision, right? To close the trade, to adjust stop, to go stop loss to break even, to close for a partial loss, a partial win, a very small win, a very small loss. That's my discretionary trade management, that I allow. So that's the thought process. That's the thought process. We'll see how this one plays out, guys. This one plays out. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll way back. You guys were talking. Totally see how it keeps me stuck. Yeah. I trade micro, so I'm usually end up holding a micro after taking a majority of my position. Nice. Yep. Scaling out. Plenty of different ways you can manage trades. Building positions, scaling in, scaling out, taking partials, plenty of different stuff. The old me would always move my stop loss further out. End up with crazy losses. Yep. Hey, Zach, on NQ, once IB has broke 65%, it retraces to the 25% level. Enter there. 2-to-1 risk reward. Stop loss at 50% level. Only 21.8% chance it retraces to the 50% level. 51% of the time, it breaks the IB to plus 25. Nice. There you go, Dwayne. Yeah. So you got a nice system there. It's backed by data, right? I love that. Love that. Optimism will kill you in this business. Yeah. Well, here's what it is, right? We are often optimistic when we shouldn't be, and we are pessimistic when we shouldn't be. You want to be optimistic when you are winning. You want to add in. You want to press your winners, right? You want to hold all the way for that nice move, You want to be pessimistic when the market's moving against you. When it's proving your idea is not working, it's getting close to stopping you out. That I think is important to think about. I will then move stop to IB high, so 1 difference good. Nice. Yeah, Dwayne, that's a nice one, man. I got to look at that. Very nice. That's the key. I got to let myself feel the emotion. I'm glad you reminded me of that best psych lecture going into the weekend. Yeah. Listen, you hear guys and girls talk differently about this stuff, right? I'm a believer that the emotions get dulled. The fear and greed and hope and optimism and pessimism, they get dulled, right? Because you just do it so much that inevitably, like, you take on more risk. The losses get less painful, but you never stop feeling the emotion, right? Like, I never stop feeling. I hope the trade moves back into my profit as it's like close to my stop loss. I never stop feeling the desire to close the trade out and not let it come back on me and just take the win and, secure the day. But you have to look at your data and say, am I doing the right thing or the wrong thing? Can I adjust this? And when am I feeling that? And is that the right emotion? Is that going to help me here? Or is it not going to help me? I feel the desire after taking a losing trade and a losing day to go and get my money back, right? I want to double up. I want to take another trade, right? But I know, because I've done it so many times and it doesn't work out and it doesn't make any sense to just go and gamble, to not do that, right? I've started to create a different response to that emotion, to that feeling. That's the thought process that I have. You're not going to be a ice cold machine. Eventually you start to lose feeling, but for the most part, you're going to feel that stuff. You're going to feel that stuff. You're going to continue to feel it. How can you acknowledge it and create a different response to it? Kind of like the anxiety thing, the meditation thing. Like, if you meditate or you hear people talk about that, the goal is not to be perfect, right? To not have this racing thought like the monkey mind. It's to acknowledge the thought, say, hey, how's it going? What's up? I acknowledge you. I'm not going to give in to that and feed to that. I'm going to bring myself right back to center. I'm going to create a different response to that. That's kind of how it helps with anxiety and depression and all these different things. You kind of work through that. You're still going to fear the thing that you're scared of, but you accept the fear, you're present with the fear, you sit with it, and then you create a different response to it. You don't try to push it away or hide it or never feel it, that type of deal. And then naturally it dulls. Naturally, you lose the desire to just YOLO your account after you take a loss because it doesn't work. As painful as it is. So anyway, hope this helps, guys. That's the hard stuff. This stuff, this is the easy stuff, man. This is the easy stuff. Taking a win or a loss, entering a trade, this is easy. Everybody can do it. You can hop on and click a button, right? How do you manage it? How do you not close out right here for $180 every single time and then take a $1,000 loss every single time, right? How do you take a $985 loss and then not full port the account, right? Not keep trading all the way to oblivion, right? That's the stuff that really makes the difference, in my opinion. Yeah. Let's go, Tom Hogard. Hard to find balance. Yeah, it's hard. Hey, listen, it's hard. I'm not saying it from a place of having it figured out. It's hard, man. I struggle with it every day. It's a tough game, man. It's tough stuff. Got to build some discipline, though. Got to build some discipline. Tom Hogard. Yep. We were talking about Tom Hogard doing the opposite. Great book. Trading the Zone. Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogard. It's fantastic. He provides examples, talks about it. It's great. Nice. Nice, Dwayne. Appreciate the IB retracement trade tends to work better with a tiny break, and then buyers and sellers will keep inside the IB until 11 a.m. for the auction. Interesting. Yes, outstanding book. Oh, I accidentally... Yeah. Trading the Zone by Mark Douglas. Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogard. Mental Game of Trading by Jared Tendler. I don't think you'll be a worse trader after reading any of those. I think you'll be much, much, much better. And then if you read those, read all of the other ones. Market Wizards, solid. Phantom of the Pits, really solid. Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. All the books, man. Do the work. Just going to come keep them back here one day thinking, yeah. Well, accidentally hit the wrong quantity on my orders. Damn it. Lost 6K in a millisecond. Mike Z. We fat fingered. It's a tough one, dude. That's a tough one. I've done it live with you guys. I've done it. I've bought when I tried to sell. I've literally done it live with you on accident. I'm sorry, Mike. It happens, dude. It's a reminder, unfortunately, that you gotta take time and try to focus and prevent that from happening. But I'd be lying if I said I haven't done it multiple times. I'm sorry, brother. That sucks. Yeah, man, that sucks. Listen, keep your head up. It honestly, almost those are easier to stomach. It's a fat finger mistake. It happens. Try not to let it happen again. Put processes in place to not let it happen again. I was up and about to lock out. Sorry to hear it, man. Sorry to hear it. It's a fucking pain in the ass. Yeah, do what you can to not let that happen, man. And it is a reminder every time it happens to really double check everything because so much is on the line. But I continue to do it on accident as well. One thing I'll gotta take a break for the next bit. Yeah, take a break. Watch this trade move in profit. I'm hoping it continues back down into this IB range. We'll have to see. For me, what I've found is a real challenge and where I've made mistakes continually is trying to manage too many accounts. I don't know how other guys do it. I find it difficult to swap between so many accounts with so many different rules and goals and balances and how you're supposed to treat them and be able to bounce around. So I'm really narrowing it down myself this year. I was trading my personal live account a lot more on the side of my Top 1 Futures account and now my Top 1 Futures live account. I'm gonna narrow that down, I think, to for intraday. Really, I got my top one live account here with you guys in the morning and throughout the day. That's the main focus, and then the side quest accounts, the side quest sim accounts, hopefully working towards a live account. But to be really cautious hopping over to a live account or anything else, because it's easy to do that. Different platforms, different buttons everywhere, different rules, different, sizing and everything. And it can be a quick problem. So that's how I've tried to counteract that. Currently reading The Hour Between Wolf and Dog, how the body reacts to risk taking. Ooh, that sounds really good. Sounds really good. I'm gonna have to take you up on that one for sure. For sure. One of the best ones I'd say is, again, these are all really popular. I'm like the popular book reader. I don't know any of the obscure stuff, but another really good one that applies to trading, but it's not a trading book at all. Applies to doing anything difficult, anything new, building belief in yourself. Think and Grow Rich. It's an old book. You probably heard about it. It's a banger, man. It's such a banger. It's all about belief and mindset and confidence in yourself when you set out to do something hard, because there is a time in trading, and I talked a lot about this on different podcasts, but there's a time in trading where you have it figured out. You have technical analysis figured out. You have risk management figured out. You know how to trade. And you continue to make these same mistakes. You continue to do things that will drive your P&L into dog water. And there's a big portion that can come from not truly believing that you can make money in the markets. If you're going to do something, you have to believe you can do it. You have to build the confidence. You have to build the mindset through the hard work. There's no shortcut, right, for actually doing the hard work. But if you're going to trade profitably, like if you're going to run a marathon, if you're going to lift a certain amount of weight, if you're going to go pass a test, you have to believe you can do that. You might get lucky, but if you don't believe you can do it, what will happen? You won't do it, right? It's very simple. So you got to take a hard look in the mirror at a certain point in your trading and in anything else you do that's going to be really difficult that you've never done before, and ask yourself, do I believe without a shadow of a doubt that I can do this? Do I believe every day, arrogantly, confidently, before I've gotten it done, that I can do it because I've built an overwhelming amount of evidence through hard work that I can do this? If you don't believe that, you won't. Right. It's the 4-Minute Mile. You can read that story. It's a fantastic one. Very short read. Go read the 4-Minute Mile. You probably will find something in your life that's your own 4-Minute Mile. I had it with motocross. Very, very clear cut to me. But that's a big piece of trading. I don't hear that many people talk about it, but it's a big piece of trading. You can stay stuck for a long period of time because you don't believe in yourself. You really don't believe that you can do it. You believe you're getting lucky. You believe, you don't believe you deserve it. So, that's a mindset thing, man. But that mind is powerful. It skews. It not only affects your execution, it skews your perception. It skews your perception. As crazy as that sounds, that's the truth. The way you perceive market data, the way you perceive the tools that you use, can be skewed. Whether you're fearful, hopeful, believe in yourself, don't believe in yourself. Think about that stuff, guys. Again, this is a little more advanced. You're a couple months in, get on the charts, back test, put the work in. Don't worry about that. You're a year in, you're 2 years in. Focus on that. Read the books. The answer is inside of you. It's not on the charts. And I'll be honest. Check this out. I watch guys repeatedly. This happens. When in trading, right? Because I watch everybody else trade, right? I see everything. I'm also watching this trade. Try to come back in, guys. Tried to come back in, man. We just can't do it. I would have loved to see this reaction. We started to get a really nice one here. I would love to see this continue the downside. There's a chance that we break and retest this IB high. Just to talk about my trade real quick. And then continue to drive higher towards this next level. I'd love to see it come back in, and that's what I'm going to hold for. No stop loss to break even right now. Going to see if we can't come back down. If we start to sell off really aggressively, we get down, you know, below the 100s, I would probably be looking for stop loss to break even and to be taking some profit into, yeah, 47.050s. Be pretty solid. See if we can do it. See if we can do it. Toss X some likes. Yeah, man. Smash the like button. Oh my god, yes, love that book. Oof, it's a tough challenge. I told myself many times, you suck so much at this. The suckiest of traders. Yeah. No, you got it. You got to change that around. Got to change it around. Definitely going to do some work on it. Yeah. True, bro. I'm long, fingers crossed. Going for longs too. Good luck to me. Nice. Send it. Send it. Chicken out when trades get super premature and get out of trade super prematurely. Only once I see a huge reverse. Still trying to get over that and let the play out. Yeah. Yes, bro. I realized that was the problem for a long time. Kept blaming the charts, and it gets to a breaking point. You realize you have to execute and just wait and let time play out. Yeah. Difficult to do, guys. It's definitely difficult to do. But it's part of anybody who's consistent, I think, journey. You get to that point, you start to recognize these things. All right, guys, we've been hanging out on here for a while. I'm going on 2 hours on the live stream. Here's what we got rolling, guys. We're going to go for some heavy likes today. I'm not going anywhere. I got a trade running. I'm not going anywhere just yet. We're going to go for some heavy likes today. We got 66 people on. We're going to run the giveaway. Oh, yeah, there you go. You got the ducks on there. We're going to run the giveaway at 100 likes. Got 270 people that have cycled on and off. The view count keeps growing. There's 47 likes on here right now. There's 63 of you. I'm confident that if all of you smash the like button right now, we would immediately run it up to 100 likes. But you guys can take your time. We can hang out for a bit. Like I said, I'm not going anywhere just yet. We're gonna see if we can't. Take a W, take an L, manage this trade well, watch it play out. But we're gonna run a giveaway. We're gonna run a giveaway for a Top 1 Futures, 50K straight to Sim Funded Pro account. No purchase necessary. I'm gonna drop a form in about, well, actually I don't know how long. However long you guys take to hit 100 likes. You guys get it filled out, basic contact information. We will run a giveaway. Cool. Giveaway is ready to roll. Ready to roll. And the market is ready to roll as well. Ready to roll over. Let's go. Dump it. We'll see. I don't like how we're holding. I don't like the break and retest. I don't like the come back up and get above VWAP. 11:15. Closing outside multiple times to the upside above VWAP. Could be in for this just slow drift higher. But I'm going to hang on to this one, guys. I'm going to hang on to this one for the pushback in. I like my entry. Like my stop. I really don't see myself getting out of this early. Talk about trade management. Talk about closing losers early, closing winners early. I really don't see myself getting out before, either one of these happen. Ooh. I was going to say, what was up with that, Project X? I don't like to run a fixed take profit. If you guys know me, it's just not my style of trading. But I don't see myself getting out before either of those levels. That's pretty much the trade management today. It's going to be a let it rip. If it goes on a long time, we start to come into the afternoon or something. Sometimes my trades run all damn day. If it was like really running towards power hour, or we did some crazy movement on the chart, we came down here, tried to test it, faked out, long wick, and then popped back up. Maybe I'm out at break even, right? A number of things can happen. But for the most part, I see this either breaking to the upside, coming up pretty soon, and just continuing to run higher, or a nice reversion, at least one nice pullback. But who knows? Who knows? But anyway, back to the sauce here, guys. You guys want to check out Top 1 Futures, which is the account that I'm trading in. This is a Top 1 Futures live account. Link is in the chat on YouTube, on Kick, X. You guys can click on my profile. You can do whatever you want. Code RDF gets you this deal. This is still running. 55% off with code RDF. No minimum trading days to pay out. Shout out Top 1 Futures. You can copy trade. Up to 3 accounts now. This says 5, but up to 3. Let's see. Yeah, we've been doing giveaways every day. It's random days, random times. We've been doing them every damn day here, guys. We've been giving out accounts worth. I think this one's $200. Was this one $200 yesterday? What did we say? Was this $200? If you could load up. What's going on with their site? That's weird. That's weird. There we go. Top 1 Futures site. This is the account that we're giving out. Yeah, $199. Someone's going to get funded. It's an instant funded account. No challenge, no activation fee. Straight into a funded account. If you guys want to check it out again, code RDF going to get you 55% off, not just the 50 that's showing across all of these. I've also been saying this for a while, but I got a really good indication, guys. Really good indication. Listen up. Everybody listen, right? Tradeovate. That's all I'm going to say. I got a really good indication that Tradeovate is coming to Top 1 Futures. You can probably not hold your breath, but I think we're going to see that really, really, really soon. Like, really soon. If you guys are waiting for Tradeovate, that's coming. I know not everybody is the Project X guy like I am. I do enjoy Project X. They have had a lot of issues over the last couple of weeks, so definitely acknowledge that. One thing I've noted on Project X recently that I have argued against a lot is the fills, man. The fills on market orders. I understand how market orders work. I understand how limit orders work. I understand how fills work in the futures market, right? And you know what's guaranteed and not guaranteed and slippage and all of these different types of things, right? But I've traded across a live account now a little bit on YM around the same time, and I noticed something. I noticed if I market in or out on Project X, it feels like I'm 3 to 5 points worse every time, right? Now, I understand how a market order works also, guys. But when I market in or out with different data on a different broker, I don't seem to get that same fill. I seem to get closer to the, 2 points worse off. 1 to 2 points, maybe 3 points. Limit orders are pretty solid. This looks like we want to go to the upside, guys. Might not be it for me. Today. This looks like we want to break to the upside, continuing to push higher. Hanging at VWAP. There's definitely a fight going. If sellers give this up, I think we're coming to the. I think we're coming through my stop quickly. Just want to acknowledge that. If sellers give this up, area of low volume that we've moved past pretty quickly in the past. I think we're coming up here very rapidly if we don't get the reversion, which we're not. We tried it a couple times. Sellers really tried it here. Could get one more nice dip down to catch a W, but buyers are making the case. Consecutive bullish bars pushing the upside. Maybe you're a discretionary trader and you say, Zach, get out of break even. Your trade didn't work. You're now you're holding on, and more market generated information has come out. That's not my discretion. All right, that's not really what would indicate an early close for me. dancing around break even. If I did that, I think I'd close myself at break even on a lot of winning trades and a lot of losing trades, and I'll just end with a ton more break evens than I would like to enjoy. So anyway, looks like it's gonna be $1,000 L or $1,000 winner. That's really what I'm gonna be holding for. Push back down for some continuation where these really start to roll back over, or we just pump higher. And I think if we do, again, I don't know that we drift here really slowly. I think we would pretty aggressively come back up through this level. That's not going to give me a way to close early. So that's my play, guys. Going to hold on to this one. But we're going to give out, what was I just talking about? We're going to give out one of these accounts. I lost my train of thought. We're talking about something else. Oh, we're talking about Phil's, talking about Project X and stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man. Listen, we talk about platforms. Platforms are personal preference. Totally up to you, right? You might hate Tradeovate, you might hate Project X, you might hate Ninja, you might hate Tradeovate, like TradingView. I think a lot of it comes like down to what you learned on. You know, what was your bread and butter? Where were you born and raised? And for me, that's a TradingView chart. So integrated TradingView chart, intuitive tools, the risk features. I think it's very, very easy to use and easy on the eyes. It gives me the tools that I want. Not everybody agrees with that. Many traders love Tradeovate. There's so much more you can do on Tradeovate as far as automated trade management strategies, a lot of different things, the reports that you get out of Tradeovate, the indicators, the tools. You can also trade on TradingView coming up. You'll be able to log in with Tradeovate or NinjaTrader, because you could also use NinjaTrader on TradingView and run your custom scripts and everything that you want to run directly from a TradingView chart, which is not available with Project X. But one thing that I noted for sure recently that I'm not too stoked on is the fills. Again, the fills on like market orders, which is difficult to dispute. It's subjective, and in the past I've argued against it. I really haven't noticed it. I felt it's been fine. But there's been just a few too many times recently where I'm marketing in across accounts, and it feels like every time I'm getting dogged like 5 points, and I'm like, that don't seem right. Use a limit order, which is why you see me using join bid and join ask all of the time, right? I almost am always using limit orders to get in and out of the market because I don't want that to happen. But there's definitely something to be said there. And again, I've been an advocate against that. I've said most of the people that say that are just, they don't really understand how the orders work, or they're complaining and, whatever. And I really haven't noticed it, but noticing it a little bit. So anyway, Tradeovate coming really soon. 81 likes, guys. We are doing a giveaway at 100 likes. We are going to give out a Top 1 Futures 50K straight to Sim Funded Pro account at 100 likes. If you want to check it out, link is in the chat again before I go and read it. Picked up 250K straight to funded. Hell yeah. Love that. 2 ignites and 2 straight to fundeds in good profit for the week. Yeah, Slothfather. Cooking. And I'm getting cooked on this trade. That's what I'm looking at here. I think this is very very possible to be a loss. Last ditch is going to be up here where we just dance around, like I said, comfortable if we come up here, but I think this could be the very quick movement right back up. Flip this to a bullish day. The sell-off's not going to continue. It's just going to be the immediate reversion, and that's going to be it. CVD continuing to drop off on ES as we climb higher, but as you can see for ES, really aggressive movement to the upside. Forming bullish bars on these bad boys. NQ continuing to drive higher as well. Putting highs of the session in, back above prior day's volume point of control for both of those. Yeah. Flipping bullish on pretty much everything there. Let's see. Day's still young. Let's see, chat. We were talking. Still go down. I want to win today. Yeah, hopefully he win. Top 1 is not available in my country. It's restricted. Sorry to hear that. Man. Yeah, there's a lot of countries that are restricted with prop firms. Let's get it. Go and break even. Friday, so I don't want to hold for too long. Nice. Could be. It's way worse. Yeah. We're talking about the fills. Yeah, I agree. Same for exits. I've seen 300, 400 green and hit exit has been red. Yeah. Knowing how market orders work also, it's always the worst possible fill on TSX. Yep. And combines feel different than XFA, but I have no proof of that. Well, yeah, man, it's I don't know. There's a feel to things, right? There's a feel to things, and you get enough experience, you trade for long enough, you kind of get that feel. So. Yeah. Rhombus with some good input. I feel like some firms are playing bigger house rules. Yeah. There's a lot of conspiracy that goes into it, a lot of what's going on behind the scenes and why and how and all these types of things. I try not to speculate too much on it. I'm not a fan of the entire Project X, like network of how it's owned and controlled, and firms moving to only allow one platform. That I think that just opens the door for a lot of problems. But that's why I'm super excited, even though I'm not the big Tradeovate guy. I'm super excited that Top 1 Futures is going to be offering Tradeovate very, very, very soon. Very soon, chat. So power to the trader, right? I don't think traders are stupid. I don't think we need to be told where you can make more money, like a lot of firms try to do. Just pick whatever you want. I would have closed out at 300, 400. I admire how you hold. That's the difference between newbie and experienced. Yeah. Well, listen, Dr. FP, right? Like, here's the thing. And this looks like a stop out, right? This is going to look like a stop out. So on a day like today, closing for $300, $400 would have generated a profit, right? But here's the thing. If I close here every day, right? And this is if I close here today and I close here tomorrow, right? And I continue to do this. What will happen is I'll take full stop outs, right? For $1,000 or whatever this one looks like it's about to be. And I'll take winners for $300 and I'll run a 0.3 to 1 risk to reward, an extremely negative risk to reward, and a very high win rate, right? And that'll feel good unless I'm able to maintain an extremely high win rate, which some traders are, I'm never going to be able to capture the trades that come all the way down, right? Every one that does this and I close here, I miss, right? And then every one that moves against me, I hold all the way to a stop loss, right? So most traders are back testing and forward testing and intending to trade like this, and then they clip them all like this, right? If you have a really aggressive negative risk to reward scalping strategy that works for you, get after it, right? But know what comes along with that. Putting on whatever fixed amount of risk and then closing before you even get a third of the way to a take profit, you're doing the opposite of what you should be doing. You're really doing the opposite of what you should be doing, which is hold on to your winners. If you're going to hold your losers, like I'm doing right now, you got to hold your winners, right? You got to hang on to it, man. It's just the nature of the game. If you find something in the market, a market movement where you're able to generate a really high win rate with a negative risk to reward, and that seems to work well for you, pre-plan it, go after it, do your thing. If not, if you're, testing with a normal risk to reward and you're clipping all your winners early, you're executing really poorly. Again, it's always a little difficult to watch profit be on the table, although that's small, that's not even close, and then come back on you. But that's the double-edged sword, right? You have to decide. You can't trade with no risk. There's inherent risk of trading. You have to utilize that capital to take losses. That's part of the business. And you have to allow trades to come back on you. You don't have to do anything, but if you want to realize larger profit, you're typically going to have to allow trades to come back on you, right? You can't find a way to not have that happen, even with taking partials and trailing stops. That's part of it. Let's see. TP hit first trade of the week. Nice. I tend to feel locking out on easy green day. Today it was easy for me. Yeah. In the long of 700s on NQ Scout. Nice. My great grandfather worked in a coal mine. I don't. Hopefully you don't do anything like that either. Perspective helps, and you are a better trader than when you started. Even Babe Ruth struck out more than he crushed it. Yeah, 100%, guys. We're sitting in the AC house clicking buttons over here, right? There's men that make steel in this country and go to war, men and women. Keep it relative, but for sure. As long as you're learning from everything, as painful as the lessons are, as long as you're learning from everything, man, got to put your hand on that fire sometimes, make those mistakes. Didn't stay in the trade, of course. Hey, Real Deal Futures, how many likes? 100 likes for the giveaway. 85 so far. Here, I'll throw it in chat again. 100 likes for the giveaway, chat. We're gonna run the straight to funded Sim Pro. So true, that's been my issue. But yeah, man, that's like one of the clearest cut ones. We talked about it a lot on this, but here's what I would say with trade management. Here's how to craft your trade management, right? As a beginner, I think you should start with a fixed take profit and fixed stop loss. Why? It's objectively harder to manage your trades with discretion or even with a fixed rule set once a P&L is flashing in your face. So while a fixed take profit and stop loss might not be the best trade management for you and your approach, you should start there, right? And if you start there, you can review and track what happened. But make a rule for yourself. Leave. Don't touch the trade. Put the stop loss and take profit in and then go. Go to Walmart. They call it the Walmart trade. That was Al Brooks's comment. There's a million different set it and forget it, whatever you want to call it. But don't touch the trade. Let them play out, right? What's happening then? What's your win rate? What's your risk to reward look like? And then from there, what happens after you enter the trade? Are you finding that a lot of trades make it way farther in profit than your take profit? Maybe you need to hold your trades longer, right? We go through this a lot. Are you finding that a lot of trades move in profit and then all the way back to stop you out? Maybe you got to go to break even. Are you finding a lot of trades dance around entry and you keep going to break even and it's hurting you? Adjust from there. It's very simple. Track your results so you can review, and then review your results, and then do a little bit more of what's working and a little bit less of what's not working over a large sample size. Not 1 week, not a couple trades that you got stopped out quickly on and now you're going to change everything, right? Over a large sample size, review and adjust. Trade management, while it's extremely difficult to really wrap your head around and create something that works really, really well for you, it's pretty damn simple. What's happening after you put the trade on? Create the most ideal trade management relative to that. It should scream at you. It should be really clear, and you continue to adjust. Excuse me. As you get more experienced, I think allowing yourself more inputs once the trade is on can be helpful. All the way up until what you see me do, which is quite discretionary with entries. I'm a little bit more consistent with trade management, but discretionary with trade management, discretionary with closes, meaning there is not a clear cut if this happens, then X, Y, Z happens. Why? You gain more experience. You understand, your system, your approach, and you get a feel. You get your intuition, your implicit memory, your pattern recognition that tells you, I've seen this before, and I know more often than not all the time, X, Y, Z might happen. I'm going to close the trade. I'm going to add into the trade. I'm going to go stop loss to break even, based on the infinite amount of things that are happening on the chart that are unique every day. The more inputs you have in trade management, the more discretion that you apply, the more difficult it becomes to be consistent, and the more really frustrating days you're going to have where you're dead wrong, right? Where you're dead wrong. So here's an example. I might today say, you know what? This trade's not working. It popped to the upside. I didn't get a reaction from the area. I'm going to close this for, $500. And today it might continue to my stop loss. And you guys might say, good close, Zach. You saved yourself half an hour. Good job, right? What can also happen? This, right? I close here, I get out of my trade early, market sells off 500 points, right? You're not going to be right every day. And if you're going to close with discretion or use any type of discretion on your entries or your exits, you have to recognize that, you know, you're going to suck sometimes, or you're just going to be good, but the market's not going to agree with you. But you're allowing yourself, you know, more inputs, and that's more difficult to manage. I think it's better reserved for traders that have already grabbed onto some consistency, because it opens even more of the door for tilt, for frustration, for emotions to come into play. Right? Really, really, you know, becomes more and more difficult to do. But I do think discretion is important, and I think it's what most traders end up at, because it's the best way to trade. It's the best way to manage your positions. You watch this stuff for years and years and years, and, you know, you get a good feel for one thing happening over another. You know what trades that are working look like, what are not working look like. You get a feel for how you want to manage, and you allow yourself to apply some of that experience, right, that you're building on the chart. But you got to have discipline. Got to have discipline to do it. $97 likes on the stream. 9 more likes. Hey, Zach, you planning on partnering with any other prop firms or only Top 1 Futures? Top 1 Futures for the foreseeable future. I've worked with some different guys in the past. I'm locked and loaded on Top 1. I think they are one of the best options. I like the team. I've been with them since the beginning, and I got a good feeling that they're going to be here for the long run based on everything that I've seen so far and before I partnered with them. Why do you ask, my friend? Do you have a prop firm that you want me to partner with? I get those emails almost every day. Believe it or not, even as a moderate channel, I wouldn't say super duper small, 13,000 followers, 30,000 subscribers, I get emails every single day. Every single day. We'll give you free accounts for your, we'll give you this amount of money. Just come and promote this crypto project. All right, let's see, guys. We're almost there. You guys are 98 likes. You're almost there. And this trade is almost there to stopping me out. Not at all getting the rejection here, guys. I was comfortable with it dancing around in this level, but it looks like we want to come up and test these lows. Come up to this next level of high volume. We haven't blasted there, but like I said, this is going to be a full close for a stop loss or a take profit, right? Pre-planned some of that, talked about it, comfortable with that risk. Sucks to take an L, but I have been very hot in this account. Very hot in this account. I typically do not get close to an 80% win rate with the way that I trade and my risk to reward, and that's where what I'm approaching with this account. It's wild. So normal losses. I'm expecting the losses. Gotta come. Part of the game. Let's see. Just curious, that's all, to use your code with different firms you partner with. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I was partnered with a bunch of people in the past, but not so much anymore. 100 hit, 99. Yeah, we're gonna drop it. I guess you guys were going back and forth with it. Here's the form in the chat. Let me throw the form in kick. Giveaway form in the chat, guys. We're gonna pin it. Go ahead, get this one filled out. We'll give you guys about 10 minutes. Maybe we'll take a stop out. Maybe we'll see a nice turn and a dump here. Crazy to see ES pull all the way back up on such a negative cumulative volume delta. Not the same for YM. Continuing to grow on YM, so that's not making the case for my trade playing out at all. That looks like it's got some strength behind it. Overall fairly low volume though. NQ, yeah, continue to push higher, man. Just a bullish move off the lows. Big bullish move off the lows. Yeah, I'd be a little bit surprised at this point if we didn't pop all the way up there. But let's get the giveaway form loaded up here, guys. Go ahead and get it filled out. Giveaway form is in the chat. Let me pin it. Appreciate you guys hopping on. As always, remember, if you don't win today, you can win on Monday because tomorrow is Saturday and we're not trading live tomorrow. But I'm live every day, 9:15, almost every day, 9:15 a.m. Eastern, 100% free here on YouTube, Kick, X, everywhere under the sun. Free 99, no course, no VIP, no mentorship. I'm partnered, I'm affiliated with prop firms and software companies that I stand to make money from, like I've been talking about and answering some questions on. But I like that as a nice mutually beneficial relationship for you guys. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to use the code. You don't even have to like or subscribe. You just hang out and hop in the Discord or not hop in the Discord. Take whatever you like from me. Don't take whatever you don't like. Win an account or two. Commentary here is helping my mindset. For sure. Thank you. Let's go. Let's go. Loki Trades, Business Builder Video, Tricky Fiber. What's up, guys? Let's go. But yeah, guys, get the form filled out. I move this one around so much. It's like the same thing every day. Just did this on the stream. Why can't I ever find this graphic? One hidden graphic. What in the world, man? There we go. There we go. It's giveaway time, chat. It's giveaway time. Let's go ahead and get that one filled out. I'm going to give you guys, I can give you guys a couple more minutes. About 5 minutes. Appreciate you hopping on. 72 on YouTube. We're cooking today, man. I think there was like a dozen of you guys on Kick before. Let's see. Half dozen. And we got 22 of you guys on X. Hop over to YouTube or Kick if you want the form. I'm not going to copy it 1,000 different times. But go ahead and get this one filled out, guys. We'll run a duck race in about 5 minutes. Let's call it 11:48. Get the form filled out. Only fill it out one time. Don't spam the form. If you spam the form, if you fill it out one time, if you use your brothers and your sisters and your grandma's email, and you have to change it when the account comes directly from Top One Futures, you're gonna get banned. You're gonna get banned from everything. Don't do that. We don't want to do that. There's plenty of accounts to win. Let's go. This one's mine. Yeah, go. Yeah. About 5 minutes, guys. We'll run the giveaway. The good news, Zach, increase in volume while it's going up means it's bullish and more buyers are coming in. I would close position and wait for another setup. What's your thoughts, Big G? Are you seeing an increase in volume as we're going up on YM? I'm seeing an increasing CVD, which would indicate what you're saying, which would indicate there are more buyers by way of buy volume than sellers by way of sell volume. But I wouldn't say that there's an overall increase in volume as we've gone up. If anything, I'd say there's a decrease in volume as we've gone up. But as a whole, I don't use volume and traditional volume, just regular standard volume in that way. I really don't. I use a little bit of CVD, a little bit of volume, just looking at bubbles on Bookmap, but not nearly as much. Right? Maybe ES has a growing volume on. Not really, right? As we are continuing to push to the upside. I mean, this is a pretty steady volume. This is a pretty steady amount of volume for NYSE session because we usually come in really hot, right? If you watch this at 9:30, we usually get a huge jump, right, from pre-market, and it's like it traditionally dies off throughout the day. But I don't know that we have a massive increase in volume to the upside. But as a whole, even if we did, I really don't weight volume that much in that way. I'm more inclined to watch price action itself market structure, historical volume using volume profiles, right? For horizontal levels on the chart, and be aware of that. But there's nothing wrong with that, and yes, I would agree with you, right? You know, that's traditionally what you want to see. If you're in a long position, you know, you'd want to see volume behind that. You want to see big spikes of volume as we continue to the upside. If you get big wicks up there and big spikes in volume and then a kind of drop off, that can indicate maybe reversion, reversal, that type of stuff. Many different ways you can use volume to your advantage. But I'm not too big on, you can see it's like a tiny, hardly see it down here. I'm not too big on traditional volume that way. I think on low time frames, it might be a little bit more helpful. I do look at it from Bookmap, but I do more like to pay attention to cumulative volume delta for anything that I'm trading. And that's not so much, you can see the number by how large or you know, how negative or positive the number grows overall. But again, that's not giving you the total amount of volume. It's giving you the difference. And that's just kind of interesting to move throughout the day. Is CVD growing or declining? And then what's happening in price? And it's giving you the difference between buy and sell volume, which is a little bit different than what you can see on traditional volume. Although technically you could see if it's buy or sell volume, right? Based on which way price is moving, the candlestick, and all these different things. All different tools that you could use, right? There's a million things we could look at the chart. You could have Sierra charts loaded up with footprints and say, hey, Zach, there's a stacked imbalance up there. You know, we're going back to grab that. This is a fake out to the downside or whatever. But yeah, all interesting stuff. All right, guys, we're coming up on the end of this form. Get the form filled out, chat. Get the form filled out. Top 1 futures, we're going to be giving away a straight to sim funded pro account coming up. Guys, stop filling the form out. It's already mine. NQ is flying. NQ is flying, is it? Yeah, it was flying. Turn a little bit on these. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know if we come all the way back down. I don't know that we do. Don't know that we do. But like I said, holding on to the trade. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. I told you guys 11:48. Gonna give you guys 30 seconds. Go ahead, wrap it up, finish it up, get the form filled out. Some of you still filling it out. NQ drying up, coming from a 4-hour gap. What do you think? Hope this pulls all the way back down to the low. Yeah, man, this is interesting, right? So here's the case again for initial balance, right? Taking a look at this. We cracked initial balance, 200 points to the upside. Unlikely that we come back down and break this, although we did break the high first. We formed the low first, which is uncommon to happen. I don't know, man. Like what's the most reasonable to happen? Like what do we really think is going to happen here on this session? That we just completely reverse this and come all the way down? That this is an insanely frustrating drive higher for multiple hours? At this point in the day, like, I don't know that that's the case, right? That we just completely turn to the downside and rip everybody's face off. I think that would crush everybody. I think that would be a really, really fun one to watch. That would be a trap the shorts, trap the longs, and then take everyone and their mother out. Because I don't know if you're still selling all the way up here. Same with NQ, you know, like what are we really going to do with this daily candle? Are we going to come back down on this? Or is this just the nice sweep of the low for a push back up to the highs? Really big bullish candle showing strength. And, you know, this is nothing but just a little fake out to the downside. And, you know, and here we go. It's a tough call. It's a tough call. Not looking as bad on YM, but I don't know that I survived this one. I definitely don't know that I survived this one. But not enough for me to close with discretion for a loss. Just not enough. I don't love that I'm close to the top here with a stop loss just 40 points outside of that, but talked about it a handful of times. We're going to see how my discretion plays out to not close this for a partial. You know, the other thought process that plays in, which is not
really something that you want to utilize because, the market doesn't care whether or not you have another opportunity coming. But from a risk management and kind of, dynamic risk per day standpoint, I don't really have another opportunity on this. If we come up here, I don't have an opportunity. I'm not going to get long. If I get out here and we come back down, I don't have another opportunity. So, as that starts to happen and I see that on the chart, I'm ever so slight. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't more inclined to just leave the trade on and let it play out. It's not a good way to use market-generated information, again, because the market does not care whether or not you have another opportunity. And if the trade's not going to work out and, you got a good indication that it's not going to work out, do whatever you want to do. Close the trade, scale out. But that is something that I talk about and I say often, like, am I going to have another opportunity on this account on YM? I don't think so. If we pop to the upside and we go crack through the 450s, I was dead wrong on this, and I'm not going to look short or long up there. If we sell off, it would be a win if I stayed in it. If I get out and we sell off, I also don't have another trade. I'm not going to chase the short or look long down here, So a little bit of that starts to factor in. All right, guys, it's giveaway time. You guys have been patient enough. We are done. We are giving out accounts on the live streams. Shout out Top One Futures. Shout out you guys, man. The stream is crazy. Growing like crazy. You guys are absolutely out of your minds, man. 13,000. I just cracked 13,000 on YouTube. We're averaging now closer to the 70s, 80 concurrent viewers here on YouTube. Crazy, man. I appreciate you guys. Ton of people hopping on X. Ton of people hopping on Kick. Y'all are awesome. Really, really, really awesome. I appreciate you. All right, chat. Let's get it on. Let's get it going. Guys look good. I don't think anybody spammed it. All right, we got our ducks in a row. As I check this trade one more time, coming back up towards the highs, kind of chopping around, moving pretty slow. We'll see. We'll see. Give me the huge reversion, the nasty dump after after that pump. But first, we're gonna run a giveaway, guys, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Appreciate you guys hopping on. It's Friday. I hope you guys had an awesome week. I had a good trading week. I had a good week with you guys streaming. Not super eventful. Kind of back and forth outside of this live account, which we've been crushing it in. But we'll talk about that another time. Let's take a look at this, guys. We have 2 minutes on the clock. Somebody is going to get funded with a straight-to-funded Sim Pro account from Top One Futures. It will come straight from them to your email. If you win, you have to be here to claim it, unless I know you as a Discord OG. Let's go. Whoa. I clicked it too many times. The ducks are off. Let me win. Let's go, duckies. I need the pimp duck. I have 3 accounts subscribed to you, Big G, so I would not lose a notification. Let's go, man. I appreciate it. I missed the form. Fast money. I gave you mad time. How'd you miss the form? It's Friday. I didn't F anything up. I didn't F up anything funded. Nice. Very nice. Congrats, 13K. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. It's awesome, man. Smaller, of course. That's what she said. You guys are funny in the chat. Yeah, man. No, it's crazy. I started putting out content. I've been trading for a little while, but I started putting out content beginning of last year, February 2024. And so I'm a year and a half, getting closer to 2 years. And I started streaming to one person, myself. Literally had to watch my own stream to make sure I was actually live. Now I got 13,000 on YouTube, approaching 10,000 on IG, a few thousand on X. We got a few hundred on Kick, 2,000 in the free Discord. If you're not in the free Discord, I don't know what you're sleeping on, man. More free sauce there every dang day. Hop in, answer. I'll try to answer any questions you have to the best of my abilities. There it is, if you guys want to hop in the 100% free Discord. But let's run it. Anyway, that's my grateful talk. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate you. You're awesome. 35 seconds to go Ange Cart, MRG2390, Soulless for Zero, Mad Moxie, Business Builder Video, Ruben T, Normal, BT Art, Colby Clark, Derives, Bags, Chart Prince, Alex H, Hunlin, 888, Purple Ninja down on the bottom, Chuck. Somebody who didn't give me a name, so I'll have to figure out who you are. Rob, Levente holding really strong, Chart Prince holding really strong, Colby Clark, Normal, Dwayne out of nowhere, all the way to the front, the breakout, 8 seconds to go. Go run CH. Streamer Hub looking very strong from behind. Colby Clark. Streamer Hub, the number 15 Naked Duck, taking the W on this one. Big W's in the chat for Streamer Hub. Let me see who this actually is. Hang tight, guys. Hang tight. Let's see. We got a W, man. Another breakout duck. Telling you, man, you can't buy the breakout on these ducks, man. You just can't. You guys keep trying it. It's too difficult. They pull back. Do I have your info? Yeah, I got your info. Streamer Hub, what's up, man? That's the OGs in here all the time. Taking the win on this one. Very nice. Very, very nice. Guys, if you want to check out top one before we get ready to wrap it, this trade is still a drawdown. Approaching the highs. Looks like it's going to be a stop. We'll keep you guys updated in Discord. But if you guys want to check out Top 1 Futures, code RDF, going to get you the best deal. Let me mark this before I forget who won. W's in the chat. If you want to check out Top 1 Futures, link is in the chat. You got congrats from Jess and Slothfather on Kick. What's up, y'all? I see you guys. Thanks, guys. Definitely getting big cash. There he is. Didn't see my duck nowhere. Be safe, everyone. Have a good weekend. Have a great weekend. Congrats. Absolutely. Guys, have a great weekend. I appreciate you being here. If you want to check out Top 1 Futures, link is in the chat. Gonna see how this trade works out. I'll try to keep you guys updated in Discord. You know, if we turn and sell off, probably catching a W. You know, if we rip higher, I'm probably out for the L. Thanks for being here, guys. I will see you live Monday morning, 9:15 a.m. Eastern. I'll see you here in Discord. I hope to catch you guys in the 100% free Discord. Hope to see you across socials. Real quick, if you want to catch me on IG, X, I'm pretty active across all of these. I post a bunch of stuff from my normal life if you guys want to see the random stuff that I'm doing day in and day out. There it is. There's X, Instagram, and YouTube, and Kick, even though we're on YouTube. Feel free to check it out. Here it is. I'll give it to you guys in Kick as well. There you go, guys. If you're on X, you're already on one of my socials. It's Real Deal Zach across everything. Anyway, guys, appreciate you hopping on. Quick disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. I do not provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Make sure you do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is. Even if funded prop firm accounts. Also, the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, what I'm showing right here, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Edgeful, like we talked about today. Do your own research. Make your own decisions. Important for me to be transparent about that. Talk to you guys soon. Have an awesome weekend. Get outside, touch some grass, get on the charts, review, be with your family, be with your pets, be with yourself. Do whatever you want to do, but enjoy yourself, guys. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for being here, man. Awesome week. I will catch you on Monday.